things I admire about you. David from Cersei was just going on about what a great play-by-play man you
Okay,
are.
all right. What are we doing here?
One of the things
I'm getting set up.
I admire about you is how you can still call a game and nobody would have any idea the game started after your bedtime.
Let's say it's called a daytime nap. It's called a daytime nap.
That is not mediocre, I promise.
If they play at 8 o'clock, one thing you can be certain of is that Chuck had a nap during the day.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
That was a called play, and I called it, Chuck.
Back to Save Sports Radio.
I'm ready to roll right now,
Can you believe we're doing this?
This brings back
Just like old times.
This is getting ridiculous, Bo Mattingly.
Northwest Arkansas is growing. It deserves an intelligent sports radio.
two ball play guys with a face for radio.
Here is Chuck Barrett and Bo Mattingly.
Well, it's me and Barton Edward today. Bo is off on assignment, as they say. And we're going to carry this thing right up to the finish line at 9 o'clock. And we're glad you're with us on this Thursday morning. We really do have a lot to get into today. There was just an abundance of activity on the Razorback football front yesterday. And depending upon your mood, there was probably something that happened yesterday that, fell right in line with what you've been thinking. In other words, there was something for everybody. If you're one of these sky is falling guys, there's something for you there. If you're one of those I still believe guys, there's something for you there too. So we'll get into that as we go through the show today. Good morning, Bart.
Good morning.
Yeah, I got to turn that microphone up.
I'm still not
well,
used to
I hit
sitting
you
over
with
here.
the surprise. Good morning.
I'm not used to sitting in this chair, but we're making it happen.
Going to begin today with some news that is sad news, and it's news that I absolutely hate relaying. Just to be perfectly honest, Bob Holt passed away late last night. Longtime reporter for the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. If you followed Arkansas sports for any period of time at all, you probably know the name. If you've read the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette at any point in the last, 35 years, it seems like, you know the name. Bob suffered, and the term that's used these days is medical emergency, after the ball game Saturday in Columbia. On his trek from Sam Pittman's post-game press conference back up to the press box. And never regained consciousness and passed away late last night. In fact, if you saw Wally Hall's tweet, 10:38 was his time of passing last night. There are going to be so many wonderful things said about Bob, and there have been over the course of the past 3 or 4 days. I found out about this as we were getting on the plane after the game Saturday night. And, obviously it was what we were talking about amongst ourselves and what we've all been thinking about since then. The family had requested some privacy and some discretion, and certainly that was honored. And, there's not been much discussion about it from a media perspective because I think everybody felt like that it was the Democrat-Gazette's place to make the announcement. And Wally certainly did that in very eloquent fashion early this morning, I think, from what I understand. Wally described Bob as one of the last true journalists, and he was. Bob represented the part of our business, and it's a much smaller part than it once was, that was impeccably fair and unfailingly fair. Bob was a kind individual. You hear the phrase, didn't have a mean bone in his body. Most of us do have a mean bone or two in our body. I really don't think Bob did. There was never a moment where I really knew what Bob's particular strong feeling was about a particular subject. He was a journalist in that regard. He was fair in every sense. And he did not come at things with any sort of predisposition, which is almost unheard of now in the media business because everyone figured out some time back that it's opinion that pushes the needle. And Bob never fell into that game. He was always a sought-after guest on programs like this one because you knew that whatever he told you was going to be factual, and you knew that it was not going to be biased. And, again, there will be so many tributes paid to Bob over the next several days, and there's really nothing, I can assure you, there's nothing that I can add to what people are going to say. They're all going to talk about what a good person he is. And, you know, I'm reminded that when we go, when our time comes, people are not going to remember our professional accomplishments or lack thereof as much as we might think. What they're going to remember is what kind of person we are. Everything that I've heard about Bob Holt since Saturday, people who've known what was going on and people who, talked about Bob, none of them talked about how he could beautifully turn a phrase as a writer. They didn't talk about, Bob used this style as opposed to this style. They didn't talk about that. They talked about what type of individual he was, what was in his heart. And that's what people remember. And that's what people will remember about Bob. And Bart, I know you knew him. The one thing that Bob did, and it was never in a let me tell you what I know kind of style, but he would befriend young reporters, young journalists, young media types, so to speak. Not necessarily, hey, let's go to dinner, but how's it going? How are you doing? And he always meant it in a sincere way. And I know you were one of those, and others have been too, that just a kind word from someone like Bob meant the world.
It did, because for so many of those like me who came up in we'll call it the next generation of sports writers, reporters, broadcasters, however you want to phrase it, like, we looked up to those guys. We looked up to people like Bob because he's the gold standard. Like, he's the type of journalist you aspire to be, and more than that, and you alluded to it, Chuck, the type of person you aspire to be. I mean, Bob Holt is one of the kindest people I think I've ever met. Never said a bad word about anybody. Always asking how you're doing, checking in on you, seeing how things are going. Always wanting to talk to you. I don't think the man ever met a stranger in his entire life.
That's true.
And I'll say this, like, some of my favorite memories of being around Bob are when he would hold court. We'd be at lunch. There'd be a group of us at lunch or dinner. Maybe it was at SEC Media Days. Maybe it was just here around Fayetteville. Nobody could tell a story and entertain with a story like Bob. And I mean, that goes back to who he is as a journalist. But, unfailingly kind, the consummate professional, and somebody who will be dearly missed by so many in sports media, the Fayetteville community, the state of Arkansas, and just a tragic loss.
Couple of points. We all, if you're fortunate, you have a work family. They're not obviously your blood relatives, but you see them more than a lot of your blood relatives. You spend more time with them than a lot of your blood relatives, and they do become part of your daily life, and you have emotions for them and feelings for them that you just don't have for other people. And, the one thing that I have always noticed from afar, and I include, and I give Wally credit for this, there has always been a strong sense of family among that Democrat Gazette crew. Tom Murphy, Bob. We're going to have Richard Davenport on at 7 o'clock today. We'd set this up to talk about recruiting, which we're going to get into today. but Richard's part of that staff, and there are others. I don't want to leave people out. Is what I'm saying, but there's always been a strong sense of family, and I know they're grieving very much like a family today. Here's the one thing that I would say, and it's just it doesn't mean anything other than, it maybe provides a little bit of comfort for me, is I know Bob was doing what he loved that night at a place that he loved. Bob was a graduate of the University of Missouri. He loved the University of Missouri. And I'm not talking about the Missouri Tigers. I'm not talking about rooting for the football team. I'm talking about loving the University of Missouri. And for those who don't know, one of the finest journalism schools in America, trained some of the best. And Bob was a graduate of there, proud of that, and rightly so. So that's the one thing that I would say, is that I know he was doing what he loved at a place that he loved. And but just an icon. I first started reading Bob when Jerry Jones bought the Dallas Cowboys. It was a different era then. Newspapers really were the Daily Record in that time. And Jerry Jones bought the Cowboys, and the Democrat-Gazette sent Bob Holt to live in Dallas and to report on the Cowboys every day. And he did. And it was, for those of us who were young and Cowboys fans, this was pre-internet. And to have that kind of stuff in the paper every day, it was just gold. And, and that was, 35 years ago,
Chuck, one of the other things that comes to mind is Bob was the guy who would always ask the tough questions at a press conference to a coach, but they were always fair. And the coach, I don't know a coach in the country who didn't respect Bob. He had a rapport with not just the coaches at Arkansas, but with coaches around the SEC, around the country, just because of the way he handled press conferences, the way he asked questions, and the way he did his job, to your point, in a very fair manner. And I think, in the new media age, as things like SEC Media Days began being a televised event, people around the country kind of took notice of Bob and how he handled himself in these press conferences. And again, just so much respect for him and the job he did.
He became a public figure of sorts, but very, very reluctantly.
Yes,
very,
100%.
Very
Did
reluctantly,
not like it.
I assure you.
Yeah.
All right, that's where we start. And again, I hate to have to begin that way, but we'd be remiss if we didn't, just to be very honest about it. There are things going on out there, and we are going to get into all of them today. We'll remind you our phone number is 877-377-6963. We welcome those of you watching on YouTube and following us along the various streams. Razorback football news, Carmona coming back, Satania on the way out, Landon Jackson's not going to play in the bowl game. We got the college football playoff to get into. The SEC goes 14-2 against the ACC in basketball. So we'll get into all that. If you've got thoughts on the passing of Bob Holt, we'll certainly relay those too. All right, quick break. Back with more. This is the Chuck and Bo Show. Good morning. When they do that, they can hear our off-air conversations. And I always want to know whether or not anybody can hear us.
We know how you are off air. It's something to be aware of.
I'm aware of that.
Yeah, it's something to be aware of.
I know.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
13 days of deals starts now at Fayetteville Auto Park. There's never been a better time to buy. For the next 13 days only, everything is on sale. Aggressively priced up front, based on the Kelley Blue Book Price Advisor. Tons of pre-owned below $29,999, plus all your favorite new models: Honda, Acura, Toyota, Chevrolet, and more. Our biggest sales event ever. Now through November 30th at Fayetteville Auto Park. If you've been waiting for the best time to buy, this is it. Tons of new and pre-owned vehicles to choose. The deals of the year are here at Fayetteville Auto Park. We've got a great selection of pre-owned, many priced under $29,999, but only for a limited time. Closeout pricing means you save big on every new or pre-owned. What are you waiting for? You've only got a few days to lock in these limited time offers. Absolutely ends November 30th at Fayetteville Auto Park. Proud sponsor of the Chuck and Bo Show, located on West Showroom Drive in Fayetteville. Online at FayettevilleAutoPark.com. Pre-owned sale. All offers mutually exclusive. Expires 11/30/24.
Is your hot water heater letting you down? No one likes cold showers. We want to be able to count on our hot water. That's why Pasco Air Plumbing and Electric has an offer that comes with the peace of mind I value. Get this. For just $17.76, you can get a 40 to 50 gallon water heater fully supplied and installed by their licensed and insured technicians, backed by a comprehensive warranty. For less than $2,000? Yeah, price check it. It's a deal. Just log on to gopascal.com and don't worry about hot water anymore.
I always enjoy talking about Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company. If you followed my radio career, you remember they were partners on the original sports rap radio program over 20 years ago. We've done business together from an advertising perspective, but more importantly, they've been my partners in buying and selling homes. I'd recommend them to anybody. They're in Northwest Arkansas, the River Valley, and in Branson. Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company, turning houses into homes since 1978.
You say, well, that's a tough thing to say. Well, we live in a tough world.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Here's to you and yours from the friendly folks at In Good Spirits, your upscale liquor store in Fort Smith. At In Good Spirits, they've got what your taste buds are craving, including flavorful wines from around the world, scrumptious brandies and liqueurs, tempting whiskeys and beers, and fine cigars. Treat yourself to the best as you listen to the game. Check out In Good Spirits, 12100 Highway 71 South, across from Riley Farms in Fort Smith.
Waldron Wave Rural Connect. Internet is now available in your area. Fast fiber internet and full-featured home phone are ready for you. This covers areas around Waldron, Bates, Winfield, Y-City, and more. Check out your address online today. The best whole home solution of internet and phone, all from a local provider you can trust. Order online at signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Over the river and through the woods, to Salisaw we go. Mock Legal Solutions is opening a second location to serve our Eastern Oklahoma clients. 105 East Chickasaw. For divorce and custody, let us give you the Christmas gift of a new start. And for personal injury, we will get you a settlement check when Grandma gets run over by that reindeer. 918-238-2363. Or check out our website at mocklegalsolutions.com. Free intakes and payment plans available. Mock Legal Solutions, real advice, reasonable price.
Grandma got run over by a reindeer.
Looking to boost your health and feel your best? Elite Wellness and Aesthetics in Fort Smith is here to help. Starting at only $200 a month, semaglutide and tirzepatide are weight loss shots that can kickstart your journey to a healthier, more confident you. And with Elite's hormone therapy treatments, you can restore balance, energy, and vitality. Take control of your health today with Elite Wellness and Aesthetics. 479-242-9355 to schedule your appointment or visit FortSmithElite.com. Elite Wellness and Aesthetics, getting to know you inside and out.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
I remember Clay, when he wore shorts and hush puppies and drove a Honda Accord. Now he's got a truck with a rack on it, and he's like hitting deer and, living out in the country as a rural mountain man. Unbelievable. Hey, you hit a certain age, man, you hit that crisis, and there's no looking back.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Clay's going to be here at 8 o'clock. Richard Davenport will be along at 7. SEC goes 14-2 against the ACC in the SEC-ACC Challenge. Only Auburn and Kentucky lost. Duke beat Auburn last night. Auburn jumps out early. It's like 11-2. Barley, I think, is going to be a 25-point rout. And I think I said as much. And then all of a sudden Duke comes back, grabbed the lead, and Auburn just couldn't ever get over the hump. But 14-2. I mean, I knew the league was good, but I got to admit, most of these games were, or at least a lot of them were blowouts. I'm surprised a little bit by this.
This is and this is something that's kind of been trending, and it's been heading this way for a couple of years now. This is a really good basketball league.
I'll tell you, it's good.
It's honestly, this year might be the best in the country.
Well, I think it is. Nobody's had a start like this. I'll tell you, it's good. Mississippi State's good.
Real good.
And I don't know that anybody's saying anything about them. They played Pitt last night in Starkville. I was kind of flipping around watching the games. I mean, at one point it was like 70-44.
And Pitt was
Pitt's
18 in the country.
Yeah, Pitt's ranked. And Mississippi State was just killing them. But, man, that was a heck of a showing. And I think we know who the best conference in college basketball is right now, at least among those two leagues. All right, let's get into some football today. This is really what I want to talk about. And again, if you're just hopping on, this is one of those, and I'll just say it's kind of an awkward day from our perspective because Bob Holt's passed away. If you've not heard, a longtime reporter for the Democrat Gazette. We all knew him and loved him and mourned his passing. But there's also a lot of stuff that went on yesterday, and I know if Bob was alive, he'd be reporting on all of it, and I'm certain of that as well. Kind of to break it down yesterday, Fernando Carmona is the good news. Coming back, left tackle, started every game, really kind of the heart and soul of that offensive line, the leader, the guy that, you wanted back. He's coming back. On the other hand, Isaiah Satania, Fayetteville kid, fan favorite, has announced that he's going into the portal, and he's leaving. Landon Jackson's not going to play in the bowl game, completely expected. And, whenever you debate about whether a kid ought to come back, think about that moment at Missouri where he's laying face down on the field, and clearly the initial concern is he okay? But then beyond that is, oh, my God, this is a guy that, is going to be drafted and is going to be an instant millionaire many times over. And so you think about that. And so no surprise that Landon Jackson's not going to play in the bowl game. Here's what I wonder today, and here's where I want to get some reaction on this. We talked early in the week about the importance of this week because of all the things that were going to be happening off the field. It started early in the week with Coach Pittman's surgery. The day before that, they had their meetings. Sori's coming back. Ball's coming back. Carmona's coming back. There are others who I'm certain will make announcements over the next 24, 48 hours. There are others who are going to make the announcement that they're leaving. There probably will be others, would be my guess. It is a free-for-all. I was reading an article about LSU lost a couple of five-star guys yesterday. One of them flipped to Michigan. This was what astounded me. This is reporting from On3, and I don't know that it's entirely accurate, but they've got a pretty good read a lot of the times on the money that's changing hands. Supposedly, one of these guys got a $12 million offer from Michigan. LSU, according to this article, offered the kid $1.5 million a year. $1.5 million a year. And they got outbid. They got outbid at the end of the day. And the guy goes somewhere else. And so that's the game that's being played out there right now. Now, look, Arkansas is playing it on a smaller scale in terms of the dollars. But that's what's going on. So I just wonder what people's reaction is to what happened this week, what's happened this week. Week's not over. I mean, it's today and tomorrow, and the portal opens Monday, and there's going to be activity over the course of the weekend. I think we're going to be reminded again that wherever you are, at whatever school you are, there's going to be surprises. You're going to lose guys you thought you were going to keep. Look at Arkansas yesterday, just on the recruiting front. Just when I thought Imala Ava, just when I thought I was done with that name, they flipped the kid's brother, and he's coming here out of California. is going to go to UCLA, and he's bringing a wide receiver with him. So, there's something that's going to happen, good and bad, that is going to change the narrative. And I just wonder where people are today. Has anything happened that has changed your mind on anything? Or are there things, or just what do you think the week's events so far, how do you think it bodes for Razorback football as we go forward?
Yeah, I mean, I obviously a lot of positive developments, some, not so positive, but that's the world we live in now. Like this is college football and college basketball for that are becoming more and more like pro sports. Like you are going to have key departures leave as, we'll call them free agents, so to speak, after every season. And you're going to have to find guys to replace them. The thing that the recruiting class is what it is, right? Like, this is where you look at the rankings, and Arkansas is ranked 27th by ESPN and Rivals, 29th by 24/7 Sports and On3. That's about right. Like, that's about where Arkansas traditionally falls in the recruiting rankings every year, regardless of who the head coach is. Like, that's been one constant. It's the transfer portal that is going to make or break the offseason for the Razorbacks. Who leaves? Who goes into it? Who does Arkansas find? Who comes to Fayetteville to be a part of this team next year? That's where it is, Chuck. Like, that's the whole game now. We talked a little bit about it yesterday, so I'm kind of the like, let's just kind of wait and see. Let's see how this shakes out over the next week and a half, from the time the portal opens to the end of next week or whenever.
877-377-6963. David's in Searcy. David, you're on the Chuck and Bo Show. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. An observation or two. I had already thought about whether or not Singleton would stay because he had some very good play in the games that he had to come in, and actually led us right down the field to touchdowns in some important games, and you could see the young man has a world of talent. And I had thought, well, will he stay, will he not stay? Could go either way. And then when I actually heard the news that he was leaving, it was just like a punch in the gut, because next year, if our number one quarterback got hurt, we would have had confidence that someone else could come in and keep us from having a catastrophic season, and that is very important for a team. And now, with the lack of experience with Jackson, who has a world of talent also, and Wilson coming in, these guys haven't played, so they really can't assume that role of coming in and being the guy to give everyone confidence that we won't go in a tailspin if the number one guy gets hurt. So are they forced to bring in another quarterback with experience, or do you think that Jackson or the young man, Arkansas boy we just signed, do you think they could assume that role? I believe it'd be too much to ask. I'd like your opinion on that. Thanks a lot.
All right. Thank you. I can't hear all of a sudden. All right, now we're back. Thank you, David. See, here's the thing. I mean, when Singleton left, you had to sign another quarterback. You may have only planned to sign one, which I think kind of was the plan, quite honestly. But Singleton leaves, and you got to sign two. You don't have any choice there. I'm going to be honest with you, folks. I think Arkansas needs to stockpile quarterbacks. I know people are upset about Singleton leaving. It is one of the great phenomenons in sports. Is nobody gets more upset about somebody leaving than when the backup quarterback decides to skip town. It's, oh, my God, what are we going to do? Now, I like Malachi Singleton. I think he's a capable quarterback. I don't think he's a game-changing quarterback, just to be blunt. And he's I'll be anxious to see if he goes somewhere and starts, for example. But I think they got to stockpile guys. KJ Jackson's a pretty good player. I hope he stays. I don't know the status of all that. But I like the kid at Conway, the Grayson Wilson. He can throw the ball. The thing I like about these guys is they can throw. I know people love these combo quarterbacks. Coaches are in love with guys that the defense has to account for as a runner. I get that. I understand. But you got to be able to throw that football. You've got to be able to move it through the air. Your accuracy's got to be solid. You got to hit receivers in the right spot so they can get yards after catch. You can't throw behind guys on crossing routes. You just can't if you're going to be good. And I think they need guys who can throw the ball. I love Taylor Green. I love his escapability. I love the fact he can change the game with his legs. And I think he'll be a much, much better passer next year. But when we hearken back, if we're really being honest, when we go back and we think about the great years of Bobby Petrino, it centers around the play of the quarterback. All those calls he made, if you don't have first Casey Dick, then Ryan Mallett, then Tyler Wilson, if you don't have those guys pulling the trigger, it doesn't work. You know, we saw some times this year. I mean, look, Bobby Petrino's offense made a living off the shallow cross, the drag, whatever you want to call it. Got to be better there. I'll just put it that way. And I like the fact that these guys can throw the ball. I love athleticism. I love quarterbacks who can make plays with their legs. But you got to have both. And this idea that you can be decidedly better at one than the other, that doesn't get it done. And so I think they need to stockpile guys. And the mold of the players they've got coming in, and by mold I mean tall guys, Jackson 6'4", I think Wilson 6'3", Imalava I think's in that range too. You know, you've got to have that certain prototype quarterback, I believe. And I'm encouraged that they're signing and getting commitments from those types of quarterbacks. So, again, there's something for everybody out there right now. We knew it was going to be this kind of week. At least I did. There are going to be days where the news is good. There are going to be days when the news is bad. And there are going to be days when you get plenty of both. And that's kind of what yesterday was, I thought. 877-377-6963. This is the Chuck and Bo Show. Good morning.
You never know what just happened to him that day. He could have accidentally dialed up an ED hotline while trying to call one of his hookers.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
This holiday season, make your moments unforgettable with a gift from Blakeman's Fine Jewelry. From brilliant diamonds to vibrant gemstones and timeless watches, Blakeman's has something for everyone on your list. Our team is here to guide you in finding the perfect piece, whether it's a token of love, appreciation, or holiday celebration. Visit us in Rogers and see why Blakeman's Fine Jewelry is Northwest Arkansas's go-to destination for gifts that shine. Having great vision enhances every part of life. That's why I go to McDonald Eye Associates. Whether it's a pair of readers or LASIK surgery, you know you're in good hands. You've heard former quarterback and now coach Ty Story talk about his great LASIK results with McDonald Eye. The surgeons there have done more LASIK procedures than anybody in the state of Arkansas and have helped numerous athletes get better results through improved vision. When it comes to vision, nobody sees it like McDonald Eye.
I want to make a couple of points here because I have the floor.
All of it.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
'Tis the season for Hardee's handcrafted goodness. Made from scratch buttermilk biscuits pulled fresh from the oven. The return of special traditions like salty sweet candied bacon. And faithful friends like Hardee's Cinnamon Raisin Biscuits gathered near to us and served all day, all season long. From icing drizzled biscuits to savory charbroiled burgers, unwrap the holiday goodness of Hardee's. And now enjoy breakfast till noon. Available for limited time at participating locations. Items may vary.
Hey, Ty Richardson for Cut Above Lawn and Landscaping. Does your yard need to be serviced in the fall and winter months? Of course. A Cut Above is with you every step of the way. Whether it's commercial or residential, a Cut Above can handle all your needs. Tree service, stump grinding, brush hog, full landscaping. Plus, a Cut Above can take care of all your leaf removal.
Call or text today at 479-719-5605.
That's a Cut Above, 719-5605.
Christmas shopping is easy at Jelco Outdoors with so many great gift ideas for those on your shopping list. Save 25% off all Yeti and Yukon Outfitter ice chests, coolers, tumblers, and cups. A large selection of the footwear and clothing for work to the woods, archery, hunting, and fishing gear for those that enjoy the great outdoors. If in doubt, a Jelco gift card is always a perfect fit. Jelco Outdoors, your one-stop Christmas shopping destination store. Shop local. Shop Jelco Outdoors in Fort Smith. And Merry Christmas from Jelco Outdoors.
It's fall cleanup time at Gray Brothers Equipment. From the large M7 Series cab Kubotas to the L2502, the best-selling compact tractor in Arkansas and Oklahoma. Gray Brothers and Kubota will make your fall cleanup a breeze. With great pricing and interest rates as low as 0% for 84 months, they're making fall cleanup enjoyable again at Gray Brothers Equipment in Fort Smith and Poto, where if you pick orange, you'll never get a lemon. Now through 12/31/2024, see us or go to KubotaUSA.com for more information.
This is Coke Zero Sugar. Could I be the best Coke ever? Try and taste with your ears. Hear those bubbles? Imagine them tingling on your tongue. Fizzy deliciousness. Listen to that cascading liquid. A mouth-watering waterfall. Irresistibly tasty. Zero sugar. Crisp, refreshing, and ice cold. Is Coke Zero Sugar the best Coke ever? Try and decide.
Looking to protect yourself and your family this flu season? Law's Drug Store at 6802 Rogers Avenue offers the latest vaccines for adults and seniors in both COVID-19 and the flu. Law's Drug Store has friendly pharmacists ready to assist you with no appointment necessary. Call 452-6116. It's quick, it's easy, and in most cases, free with your insurance. Law's Drug Store, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind Outback Steakhouse. Open 6 days a week to care for you and your family.
Hey, it's Ty Richardson. We're at Wheeler Power Sports in downtown Fort Smith. Aaron, what's going on this month?
We have new Polaris units on our lot, such as the Ranger XD 1500, the Sportsman 6x6, and the Razor Pro S. We have discounts here for the 2024 Polarises that have up to $6,000 off the original price. If you guys have any questions, call me or text me at 479-783-5822.
Wheeler Power Sports, keeping the good times rolling since 1967.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
Chuck and I didn't talk for 4 years.
That's right.
And I was trying to find his email, and sure enough, it was there.
Last text I sent to Bo like 5 years
Right
ago.
before COVID.
Popped up.
Right before COVID. We didn't even check on each other after COVID.
It said, "Don't call me ever again," but I ignored that. I ignored that and called him back.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Heath is on the line in Cabot. Heath, you're on the Chuck and Bo Show. Heath, good morning.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen.
How's it? Man, I got a bad headphone here. Hey, how's it going, Heath?
Oh, it's going. Chuck, I tend to agree with you a little bit when you stated that you didn't think Singleton was a game-changing quarterback. Number one, no Singleton, no win against Tennessee. So he came in and played. I mean, he made some great plays. And I just don't think we saw him enough to really determine if he had that special ability. But, I mean, he's got – it's a big loss. In my opinion, losing Singleton is a big loss. That being said, there's some capable QBs on the roster. So, but, I mean, I agree with what you said, too. They need to stock up. They need to probably have, 4. Yeah, I mean, this is a transfer portal world now, gentlemen. We know this. When you just make a bowl game, you're going to have lots of opt-outs, and you're in the world now where you don't have to sit and wait. I don't have to wait behind the starter. I don't have to, I don't have to wait my turn. If I feel like I'm not getting enough touches, I can just leave. And unfortunately, that's where we're at. I mean, I'd like to see guys stick it out. I kind of look at Manning at Texas. That kid could probably start somewhere. I mean, he looks like he's a special talent, but he's waiting his turn. And, next year he's probably going to be the starter, and Texas is probably going to be a playoff contender again. But, Satania just entered the transfer portal. I think he had one touchdown catch. Armstrong, he declared for the draft. I think he had one touchdown catch. A lot of catches, but not a lot of scores. But, I mean, that's just where we're at. Team, and it's not just Arkansas. Teams are going to, you can see it at LSU right now, too. They got a quarterback that just hit the portal. They got a receiver that just hit the portal. So, it's happening all over. You do not have to wait anymore if you don't want to. And if you feel like you're going to get a better opportunity somewhere else, you're just going to jump in the portal, and teams are going to be gutted. It's already happening before the season starts. So, at least we'll kind of get an idea of who's on the roster, and who's, about them playing in the bowl game. So, but other than that, gentlemen, that's all I got. Good win for the basketball team, though, just Miami.
Yeah. Thanks, Heath. I appreciate your call. Sometimes I think you got to look at each case individually. If you're Malachi Singleton, why would you stay at Arkansas and be a backup another year? Seriously, why would you? This guy's already a redshirt freshman. He's itching to play, and he needs to play. If he's going to be a college football quarterback, it's time to play. Well, what are you going to do? You're going to sit Taylon Green because, hey, Malachi Singleton needs to play? Of course not. And guys want to play. Guys want to increase their value. And I don't mean just their value as a football player. I mean their earning potential. That is the focus now. Whether it's right or wrong is irrelevant. It is the focus. And if I'm Malachi Singleton, the last thing in the world I want to do is sit behind a starting quarterback for another year. I don't blame him at all. I'd have done the same thing. Now, in terms of Satania, I think Heath talked about it there a little bit. Whether, again, it's right or wrong, it's a stats-driven world now in sports. And generally when a receiver leaves, it's because he doesn't feel like he's getting the ball enough. And that's a common, I think, feeling among receivers that leave whatever program is, I'm not getting the ball enough. Otherwise, you'd stay where you are. And look, I don't know where we tend to think that when a player leaves, it's either a commentary on the coach, commentary on the state of the program, or I'm not playing enough or getting the ball enough. As we've seen in the transfer portal and in the NIL era, sometimes when you have a good year at one place, what it really means is you're going to get a whole bunch of really good offers, and you have the luxury of making a business decision, so to speak. I don't know what the situation is with Isaiah. I know he's a really nice kid and really conscientious, and I know Fayetteville loves him, and they should. The state loves him, and they should. But obviously he feels like his football future is going to be better served somewhere else. And, again, I think sometimes we look at things, and it's tempting to do that. And there was a time when it was probably true. We look at guys leaving, and we think it's an instant commentary on everything that's going on around them from a team perspective. And sometimes it's just an individual concern. Jimmy's in Conway. Jimmy, you're on the Chuck and Bo Show.
Top of the morning to you, Chuck.
Hey, Jimmy.
I appreciate your commentary on all this. And man, Arkansas has never been in the top 5 in football recruiting. And these people that just think we should be every year, I don't understand it. It's just history shows that we're just not. But my question is this for you. Arkansas has a bad year, and it seems to set us back 2 or 3 years before we can recover. Auburn has a horrible year. They could be on probation, death penalty, and they're still number 4 in the SEC in recruiting. How does that – I don't understand that. You know, they have a bad year. Nobody cares. It's just like they still want to go there.
Well, all right. Thank you for your call. Auburn's had good recruiting years before. Other teams have had highly ranked recruiting classes before. If you really look at it historically, and I mean, I hate to throw cold water on all this, but as we've discussed before, there have only been 6 different schools to win the SEC championship since 1977 in football. There have been, since they started doing recruiting rankings, and I don't know exactly when that was, the pecking order is about the same every year. Stars are based on offers, and rankings are based on stars, and that's just kind of how it works. And I do not and have never spent a whole lot of time thinking about recruiting rankings because, just to be very blunt, and Bart touched on this earlier, Arkansas has fallen about the same spot in the pecking order every year. You know, they're right about the same spot every year. And I think Arkansas's fate next year, and look, we don't even talk about development anymore. We don't even talk about building for something 2 or 3 years down the road. That's not even part of the conversation anymore. The conversation centers around, is he going to win enough games next year to keep from getting fired? Not just here, but everywhere. Is he going to win enough games to keep from getting fired? Well, if your future is going to be determined by what happens in the next 8, 10, 12 months, you better get you a player who can play today. Now, if you've got some stockpile, that's fantastic. And as I said a minute ago, I think Arkansas very much needs to start stockpiling quarterbacks. But your fate, Arkansas's fate, Sam Pittman's fate, the fate of your feelings about Razorback football are going to have a lot more to do with what happens in this portal than what happened in this high school recruiting class. I'm sorry, but that's the truth. And if you're honest about it, you'll admit that. You're going to determine a lot of your feelings about next year on what happens in that portal. The calls we've had already have been portal calls. Who's leaving? Who's coming? I can't believe this guy's going. Sure is a good thing this guy's staying. That's just kind of where we are. 877-377-6963. This is the Chuck and Bo Show. Back with more in a moment.
Good morning, Hog Country. I travel with my work, so I'm on the road a lot. So you guys are on my station.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Oaklawn is your hot springs escape. Enjoy plush comfort, upscale dining, and Arkansas's only Forbes 4-star rated spa at our luxury hotel. And with easy access to Hot Springs National Park and sparkling lakes, Oaklawn is your home base for everything the region has to offer. Come stay, play, and get away at Oaklawn, a Forbes Travel Guide recommended hotel. Make your reservation at oaklawn.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
Did you know the CDC reports as many as 3 out of 4 Americans suffer from sleep disorders? The more severe condition is called obstructive sleep apnea, and if left untreated, can increase the risk of death by 17%. It can also lead to conditions like obesity, high blood pressure, heart condition, and stroke. If you have sleep disorder breathing, it's important to treat it properly. The
Before
standard
the
treatment's
music,
a breathing machine called
period.
CPAP. It helps you breathe
Is my
during the
mic
night.
open?
However, there are other options, and thanks to some truly innovative and proven technologies provided by one of our own Arkansas surgeons, Dr. Scotty Bolding, there are alternative treatments that may eliminate the need to wear CPAP every night. Dr. Bolding at Precedent Center for Facial and Dental Medicine works carefully with your sleep physician, determines where the underlying obstruction may be, and provides surgical solutions that open the airway, allowing you to breathe better. Call Dr. Bolding's office today at 479-755-3000 for a consultation and tell them you heard it on the Chuck and Bo Show.
I always enjoy talking about Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company. If you followed my radio career, you remember they were partners on the original sports rap radio program over 20 years ago. We've done business together from an advertising perspective, but more importantly, they've been my partners in buying and selling homes. I'd recommend them to anybody. They're in Northwest Arkansas, the River Valley, and in Branson. Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company, turning houses into homes since 1978.
First Security is about more than great banking.
Yes, we provide the financial expertise, digital tools, and everything else you need when you need it. But we also go all in on local support with friendly professionals, plus convenient locations all across the state. Because we believe personal banking is better banking. Visit fsbank.com for details. That's fsbank.com for friendly, local banking with First Security. Bank better. Member FDIC.
We want to make sure that you can read some ludicrous lyrics on his 47th birthday
I can
today.
do that one. Roll out, roll out. The Chuck and Bo Show.
Arkansas is special. Our people are honest and hardworking. The Brad Hendricks Law Firm is pure Arkansas. We were raised here, we live here, and we're straight shooters. Unfortunately, out-of-state lawyers who care nothing about Arkansas are advertising for your legal business. They don't understand that you don't hand Arkansans a pile of cow dung and try to tell us it's a rose. Don't be just a number. Call the Brad Hendricks Law Firm. Tradition, reputation, results.
Hey, Ty Richardson for Jam Mart. Brad, Tyson, and their entire team are so thankful this time of year during the holidays. We appreciate all of our customers that enjoy the beverage bar at Boonville, the hot food at Phoenix, and the deli at Jam Mart number 10. We know you're loving the updated pumps at our gas stations, and we're continuing to strive to find new creative ways to improve every single day. If you love Jam Mart, please leave us a 5-star review on Google. Happy holidays from your friends at Jam Mart.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's #1 mobile app for placing sports wagers.
There's big news in the mobile sports betting business. Bet Saracen was just named the 15th largest sports book in America. That's because Arkansans like to do business with a winner. Find all your winners on Bet Saracen. Download it today and look for my R prop bet specials. I pick them, you win them.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's favorite sports wagering app.
Gambling problem? Call 800-522-4700.
Hey, it's Ty Richardson. We're live at Rainwater's Men's Clothing and Tuxedo Rental, 9700 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. You guys have really affordable suit and tuxedo rentals that I think people need to consider.
Mercy Ball and holiday events that a lot of guys need tuxedos to rent. So come to Rainwater's, you get to try it on immediately, and you know that it fits, and we'll take care of you.
When you stop by, make sure to tell Gail and his staff that Ty sent you.
Rainwater's Men's Clothing and Tuxedo Rental, because it's fun to look good.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
I was 6 years old. We played with a legendary quarterback, Joe fucking Ferguson. 31-7. We sent him back to Austin.
I thought he went all the way.
Yeah,
I didn't think it was a check swing. I didn't think it was a check swing. I thought he went around.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Bart, you got your locks ready? Getting ready for the weekend? Got championship games coming up. Whole bunch of them on Saturday.
Yeah, well, I don't love the championship games and the lines on the championship games. But I'll tell you something I'm looking at. I think Texas is gonna give it to Georgia. I think Texas is gonna.
See, here's the thing nobody's thinking
Hard
about.
to beat a good team twice.
I know it is. I understand all that. Playing them at the Georgia Dome, it's like a home game for Georgia.
Yeah,
I mean, they're going to – and I know Texas fans will travel, and I know there's going to be a lot of Texas fans there. They're a national team. They've got fans everywhere. But playing Georgia in that dome, it's not like playing between the hedges, but it's awfully rowdy in there. And 2 out of every 3 people, 3 out of every 4 are going to be Georgia Bulldog fans. So I think that's a full-fledged toss-up. I'm looking forward to all of them. Coming up in the 7 o'clock hour, Richard Davenport, Democrat Gazette, talk recruiting. Chuck and Bo Show. Good morning.
Flight by Yingling. It's the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass. Raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling and Son Incorporated. Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Guys, regardless of our age, feeling good is something we all want. That's what the Sweatnum Edge is all about. It's where health, Confidence and peak performance come together. We all face challenges like low energy, hair loss, who's looking at me, stubborn weight, and skin health. The good news is we can do something about it. Get your free evaluation today and see where you are. Chuck and I have both done it and are better off for it. Log on to sweatnomcosmetic.com and click on the Sweatnom Edge.
First Security is about more than great banking. Yes, we provide the financial expertise, digital tools, and everything else you need when you need it. But we also go all in on local support with friendly professionals, plus convenient locations all across the state. Because we believe personal banking is better banking. Visit fsbank.com for details. That's fsbank.com for friendly local banking with First Security. Bank better. Member FDIC.
'Tis the holiday season, a special delight, with gifts all around and spirits so bright. Watch closely now, for there's one more surprise, a gift that brings comfort with joy in our eyes. The family rejoices, their excitement takes flight. With a new Pascal heat and air system, they're snug every night. Give your family the gift of true comfort with over $5,100 in savings. Plus, receive a whole home duct cleaning on qualifying systems. Special financing available with no payments and no interest. Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
We are possibly entering what could be a golden age in Razorback athletics.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Hey, Ty Richardson for Jam Mart. Brad Tyson and their entire team are so thankful this time of year during the holidays. We appreciate all of our customers that enjoy the beverage bar at Boonville, the hot food at Phoenix, and the deli at Jam Mart number 10. We know you're loving the updated pumps at our gas stations, and we're continuing to strive to find new creative ways to improve every single day. If you love Jam Mart, please leave us a 5-star review on Google. Happy holidays from your friends at Jam Mart.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, ample sunshine. Our high this afternoon, mid-30s north, mid-40s south. Clear skies overnight will drop down into the lower 20s. We're back to sunshine on Friday, a high on Friday, right around 45, and then Saturday, mixture clouds and sunshine highs in the low to mid-50s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by In Good Spirits, Fort Smith's premier source for fine wines, specialty beers, and liquor.
Greatness doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, focus, and dedication. At Shelter Insurance, we understand that because we put in the hard work and dedication for decades. And that commitment is paid off with award-winning customer service for your auto, home, and life insurance.
See Agent Chris Dooley in Fort Smith.
Have you been to the River Valley's only multi-sport facility? Then let's hang out. The Hangout in Fort Smith is the only sports facility that offers indoor tennis and pickleball, indoor and outdoor basketball, and has now added multiple soccer fields. Soccer leagues are forming soon. Did you know the Hangout also has an 8,000 square foot fitness center with bar, yoga, HIIT, and Pilates classes? The Hangout, 5400 Gary Street, or thehangoutfs.com. Fitness, sports, and more. Let's hang out.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. You're listening to ESPN 95.3.
Touchdown, Arkansas! How did he get that wide open?
It's Ty Richardson with owner and operator Cecil Gardner with Jazzco Graphics, 16 years in the industry. Cecil, this is the one-stop shop.
Yes, Jazzco Graphics Design, the one-stop shop, 2415 Midland, for your custom or bulk order.
Why ESPN 95.3?
I really enjoy listening in, and it keeps my day going while I'm at work. Jazzco Graphics Design, 2415 Midland. It's on the corner of Midland and Kelly. Jazzco Graphics, the one-stop shop.
Let me grab my car keys and we'll roll.
Are we still going to that new bar downtown?
Yeah, it's supposed to be fun. Lexi, give me driving directions from home to downtown bar district.
Autocorrect. Suggest Uber. Pick up, home. Drop off downtown bar district.
No, I'm driving.
Suggest the Metro bus. Departing in 12 minutes.
Huh. Point taken, Lexi. We'll grab a ride.
If you drink, don't drive. Decide to ride. Brought to you in partnership by Anheuser-Busch, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, and Uber.
Hey,
Hey, it's Ty Richardson. We're live at First Financial Mortgage. My friend Ethan Adamson. Ethan, I got a good recommendation from a friend. You go to your Google reviews right now, you guys are at 4.9 for First Financial Mortgage.
Yeah, we've got the most Google reviews by any lending company in the River Valley by more than double. We really pride ourselves on those Google reviews, try to make everyone's experience really well, and that way they'll refer us to other people. Call 479-782-9300. Weekdays 8 to 5, ffb1.com. First Financial Mortgage, in the business of you, equal housing lender.
Waldron Wave Rural Connect. Internet is now available in your area. Fast fiber internet and full-featured home phone are ready for you. This covers areas around Waldron, Bates, Winfield, Y-City, and more. Check out your address online today. The best whole home solution of internet and phone, all from a local provider you can trust. Order online at signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
Previously heard on Chuck and Bo.
I do this not just for me, but for all the people my age. I've never personally ordered anything on an app. Would you be using our app today? Well, no, I'm at the drive-thru.
It doesn't like us to ask if he's using the app again.
There's that dumb guy again.
That guy sounds like the voice of the Razorbacks.
He's an idiot.
What a jerk.
What an idiot.
Hunter Yurachek opens his email. Hey, man, your voice of the Razorbacks, a real jerk.
He
Every
doesn't know
time
how to
I
use
just
the
ask
app.
him if he wants to use the app, he talks to me like I'm an idiot.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
That was a call play, and I called it, Chuck.
Back to Save Sports Radio.
I'm ready to roll right now,
Can you
Bo.
believe we're doing this?
This brings back.
Just like old times.
This is getting ridiculous, Bo Mattingly.
Northwest Arkansas is growing. It deserves an intelligent sports radio.
Two ball play guys with a face for radio.
Here is Chuck Barrett and Bo Mattingly.
Bo Mattingly is on assignment today. He does some freelance work for ESPN on the college football playoff, and so he's traveling. And I think he's actually working as we speak on that project. So he's gone today. Me and Bart Edward hanging out, and glad you're here. We're going to talk to Richard Davenport of the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette in a minute. We're going to talk about recruiting and such. If you weren't with us in the last hour, if you weren't with us as we began the program, word beginning to filter out, and it's just very sad to talk about a friend's passing. But Bob Holt of the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette passed away late last night. Bob had suffered a medical emergency, we'll call it, in the aftermath of the Arkansas-Missouri football game on Saturday. He'd been down in the press conference area for Sam Pittman's post-game press conference and was walking back up to the press box when this occurred. And Bob was hospitalized right away. My understanding is did not regain consciousness and passed away late last night. I think those who've worked around or worked within the media, those who follow Razorback sports, knew that this had happened, but out of respect and to honor the wishes, frankly, of the family, it has not been discussed a lot publicly, although it has been discussed a great deal privately. And I made this comment in the last hour that, if we're all lucky, we have a work family. And one of the things that from afar, I'll be very honest, I've always admired about the Democrat-Gazette staff was the fact that they did operate as a family, as a unit. And I know they're grieving. And all of us who knew Bob are grieving. As Wally Hall posted late last night, early this morning, Bob was one of the last great true journalists. He represented the small wing, it seems like sometimes, of the journalism business that remained unfailingly fair. And you didn't get opinion with Bob. What you got were facts, and generally speaking, at the end of one of his articles, there was something you would agree with, or something maybe you didn't agree with. But Just a genuinely good person. And more, when you encounter a genuinely good person, you remember. And as again, I said last hour, I'm struck by how, and reminded again that when it's our time, all of our accomplishments, that's not going to be what people talk about. How good we were professionally, or how, I've not heard one person in 3 or 4 days say, man, Bob could turn a phrase, or, Bob would, he was a great writer, but, all these things. What I've heard is, what a fine person he was. And he was a fine person. And we mourn his loss today. And again, sometimes you hate to, you have to relay news like that. But we've had a lot of questions about it. We've not discussed it until today because, frankly, I thought it was the Democrat Gazette's place to make the announcement. And Wally did so late last night, early this morning. And certainly our thoughts are with him today. All right, we got a lot on the table today, and we've discussed a good bit of it during the first hour. We're going to focus on recruiting here as we begin the new hour. Richard Davenport of the Democrat Gazette joins us on the line. First, Richard, thoughts with all of you, and condolences on Bob's passing. You guys were obviously colleagues and on the same team together and feel it more than the rest of us do. So just know we're thinking about all of you today.
Well, I appreciate it, Chuck. You said it beautifully about Bob, and everything you see on Twitter about him. Gentle, kind. That's him. And he was one of a kind, but good guy.
Yeah, well, they don't come any better, and I know it's difficult even to talk about that right now. I also know that Bob was the consummate journalist, and I know you are as well. And there were a lot of events that happened yesterday. I said at the beginning of the show that if you're of one mind, there was probably plenty of news yesterday that fueled your thoughts. And if you were of another mind, there were plenty of things to fuel your thoughts. I want to start with the class that Arkansas signed yesterday. Now, I thought I was never going to have to say Amala Ava again, but I'm going to have to learn how to say it once more. That was the surprise to me. Just kind of your take in the aftermath of how things went down yesterday.
Yeah, that along with his receiver friend from the same school, Jace Brown, kind of caught wind the night before that something like that was probably going to happen, and then realized it was them later on. But he's an impressive dude. He threw for, well, he didn't play the senior year because of he transferred and was ruled ineligible, unfortunately. So, but he still maintained a 4-star status by 3 of the 4 recruiting services, which tells you something that what they think about him. But he threw for over 3,600 yards as a junior. And is also, a guy that can make things happen with his legs too. So I think he rushed for over 300 yards as a junior, but obviously comes from a good family and a family that is pretty good at football.
Well, from the outside looking in, I'm certain. The average fan, the first question is, well, is he as good as his brother? His brother's pretty good. I mean, I know it's hard to compare, but what do you hear from the people out there?
Well, I think, at least he's about 6'3", 200 pounds. His brother looks a little taller, but he may be a little better runner based on just a little bit I've been able to gather, in the last 24 hours. About the last 24 hours. So, it's so hard to really compare, but I would imagine they have some of the same traits just because they were raised under the same roof and they come, probably, their family probably has certain, philosophies of life that impact their not only as a quarterback, but as a leader and as a young man, and everything I've heard about his older brother is really good. So I would assume Madden's very similar, and will probably be one of those guys that's a leader of the team, which most quarterbacks are.
What's your thought on that position now? Singleton leaves. Still got K.J. Jackson on the roster. Grayson Wilson, Conway. Got good quarterbacks coming in. Are they trying to stockpile at that position, I guess, is what I'm asking.
Yeah. I think when Singleton left, that opened the door to getting Madden. So I think obviously it's going to be a young recruiting quarterback room besides Taylon Green, but obviously you're in good shape with Taylon Green. Another year of development with him. Who knows? He's pretty good right now. He has a chance to be special, I think. But I think these guys will be able to learn from him, and obviously with Coach Petrino. But I think with Malachi leaving, that they saw that let's maybe try to go after Madden here. The emphasis never really has shifted away from the transfer portal, but the spotlight's really on it now. What are your thoughts in terms of Arkansas's recruitment via the portal, what they still may be looking at, and where they feel like they just feel like they got to get better? Well, if Isaiah Sategna leaving, and you don't know who else may be leaving, it creates some more importance. Obviously, with Armstrong running out of the eligibility and Tesla, you definitely going to hit it hard. And with them signing 3 guys yesterday in the high school, it helps that they're going to be reporting for January, and that'll help their development, maybe help them maybe see the field next year. But obviously, you need a little bit more maturity. And I think the number one focus of Coach Petrino and the offensive staff, as far as the receiver position, is speed. They want to continue to add speed, and I think that's what they'll go for in the portal. In terms of the news that's come down this week, players staying. Arkansas has had some good players stay. Other schools have had good players stay. I was reading a story this morning about LSU losing a 5-star guy to Michigan for $12 million, even though LSU offered $1.5 million a year. You follow this game more closely than others. Number one, are these types of figures really accurate? And how much of this plays into last-minute decisions, guys flipping, things happening on the last day that maybe people didn't see coming? Evidently, LSU had 2 of their top guys flip because of NIL. You don't fully know unless somehow it leaks out, maybe from the family or maybe from the coaching staff that loses the kid. But whenever you see a flip, especially a high caliber kid, high 4-star, obviously 5-star, first thing you're going to think is, well, he's probably doing that for money, rightfully or wrongfully. That's just the way it's going to be perceived, and it is a challenge, and that's why schools, I think, with revenue sharing, are going to welcome that and try to even the field where they may not have quite the funds, NIL funds, that other schools have. It will help even the field a little bit, and hopefully, if you're Arkansas, you hope that the NIL funds continue so you can combine that with the revenue sharing and make yourself a little bit more competitive. Richard Davenport, Arkansas Democrat-Gazette, we thank you for joining us. And again, our thoughts are with all of you after the passing of Bob. Richard, thank you. I appreciate you, Chuck. Take care. All right. Richard Davenport, Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. It is going to be an interesting 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. Portal opens on Monday, and I suspect we're going to hear more news from a Razorback perspective over the
over the course of the next day or two. All right, 877-377-6963. Back to your calls after the break. This is the Chuck and Bo Show. Good morning.
Chuck, have you ever had oat milk?
No.
Do you like squeeze milk out of an
Or
oat?
is it just milk over oats?
Yeah, that's what happens. How does that work?
The Chuck and Bo Show.
First Security is about more than great banking. Yes, we provide the financial expertise, digital tools, and everything else you need when you need it. But we also go all in on local support with friendly professionals, plus convenient locations all across the state. Because we believe personal banking is better banking. Visit fsbank.com for details. That's fsbank.com for friendly local banking with First Security. Bank better. Member FDIC.
I always enjoy talking about Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company. If you followed my radio career, you remember they were partners on the original sports rap radio program over 20 years ago. We've done business together from an advertising perspective, but more importantly, they've been my partners in buying and selling homes. I'd recommend them to anybody. They're in Northwest Arkansas, the River Valley, and in Branson. Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company, turning houses into homes since 1978.
Save up to $15,000 off. The Red Tag savings are back at Chevrolet of Fayetteville. Your choice. Save up to $15,000 off new Silverados or up to $15,000 off new Blazer EVs. That's how we do Red Tag savings at Chevrolet of Fayetteville in the Fayetteville Auto Park. Proud sponsor of the Chuck and Bo Show. Together, let's drive. ChevroletofFayetteville.com. Savings include dealer discounts and all incentives on select models. Must qualify. See dealer for details. Expires 12/2/24.
Guys, regardless of our age, feeling good is something we all want. That's what the Sweatnum Edge is all about. It's where health, confidence, and peak performance come together. We all face challenges like low energy, hair loss, who's looking at me, stubborn weight, and skin health. The good news is we can do something about it. Get your free evaluation today and see where you are. Chuck and I have both done it and are better off for it. Log on to SweatnumCosmetic.com and click on the Sweatnum Edge.
I like craft beer. I do. You guys always think I'm like the biggest dork on the face of the earth.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Hey, it's Ty Richardson, and we're inside of Lily's Sandwich Shop in the Bakery District in downtown Fort Smith. I'm with my guy, Josefa. Today, it was the French toast turkey melt, but other daily specials every single day.
Yeah, Ty, we just kind of want everybody to know that we're not just sandwiches around here. We have all kinds of different specials. There's always something different right here at Lily's Sandwich Shop.
Award-winning Lily's Sandwich Shop in the Bakery District in downtown Fort Smith. Don't believe me? Talk to Lily.
My name is Lily. My papa makes the best sandwiches at Lily's Sandwich Shop. Come by and see him at the Bakery District today.
What makes Crabtree RV Center different? First, we are a fourth-generation family-owned business, taking pride in making your family's dreams come true. No corporate mentality here. Second, we've been in business for 74 years, founded in 1950 here in the River Valley, Northwest Arkansas area. We are not going anywhere. What does that mean for our customers? A family feel with no corporate hidden fees. The reassurance that we will be here for generations to come, and knowledgeable salespeople who want to pick the right RV for your family to make lifetime memories in. Crabtree RV Center, making your family's dreams come true for over 70 years.
In the communities we serve, we know your energy is best spent on the things you enjoy. That's why we're helping you save your energy with natural gas. More efficient than other energy sources, save your energy for cheering on the Hogs. Be tailgate ready with your natural gas-powered outdoor grill. Enjoy fast, cozy comfort from your natural gas fireplace when ball games get chilly. At AOG, we know your Razorback pride runs deep. Ours does too. And so does our commitment to caring for the communities we serve with always on energy. Visit AOGC.com.
It's fall cleanup time at Gray Brothers Equipment. From the large M7 Series cab Kubotas to the L2502, the best-selling compact tractor in Arkansas and Oklahoma. Gray Brothers and Kubota will make your fall cleanup a breeze. With great pricing and interest rates as low as 0% for 84 months, they're making fall cleanup enjoyable again at Gray Brothers Equipment in Fort Smith and Poto, where if you pick orange, you'll never get a lemon. Now through 12/31/2024, see us or go to KubotaUSA.com for more information.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
I want people to think about me when I'm gone. Who the kid?
Oh, well, now I think I know what was said there. Chuck thought Eddie said it, and then Mike Tyson really did.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
All right, glad you're back. 877-377-6963. Hey, if you're buying or selling a home, my friends at Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, that's the name you need to remember. It's nice when you can have a partner. You know, it's nice when someone that you deal with from a business perspective actually feels like a partner, as someone who's as opposed to someone who's just out there doing your bidding for you. That's been my relationship with them. I think it's going to be your relationship too, whether you are buying or selling. You've got different goals every time, and everyone's goals are different. You want someone who understands what your goals are, number one, and then helps you achieve them, makes your mission their mission. And that's what you're going to get with each and every representative at Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. Years talking about them individually, but collectively, what you always know is that you are going to deal with a trained real estate professional. Nobody trains their agents like Weicker. And that'll always be the case. Now, they're in Northwest Arkansas, Washington, and Benton counties. They're in Fort Smith, Branson. They've been turning houses into homes since 1978, and you can check out their selection at WeicherGriffin.com.
Chuck, we've got a statement in from Arkansas Athletics Director Hunter Yurachek on the passing of Bob Holt. We are saddened to hear the news of the loss of longtime Arkansas sports writer Bob Holt. Bob was the consummate journalist who helped tell the stories of Razorback student athletes, coaches, and fans to millions of readers across our state and beyond for 4 decades. His never-ending curiosity was genuine and allowed him to be inquisitive in a way that would allow him to get to the heart of any topic. Bob will be missed by many in our Razorback family throughout the Southeastern Conference and within collegiate athletics. Our thoughts and condolences are with him and his family and all those who had the pleasure of knowing him. That's Hunter Yurachek, Arkansas AD.
Bob was on the board of directors for the Basketball Writers, the National Basketball Writers Association, and was part of the Football Writers Association, had a Heisman vote, top 25 vote. Very, very well respected as a journalist, and and loved for the kind of person that he was. All right, David is on the line as we head back to the phones. David, you're on the Chuck and Bo Show.
Hey, morning, Chuck.
Hey, David.
I got just kind of a take on the Taylon Green. I assume since Taylon's staying that kind of ensures Bobby Petrino is coming back for sure.
Well,
we're
looking
at the Charlotte thing and all that.
Yeah, he's removed his name from that.
Yeah, but this coaching carousel will go on through the middle of January. If we're keeping Taylon, we almost have to keep Bobby here somehow. So my question or my kind of concern is kind of like Richard said, that speed. That's what Bobby's always had on his receiver side. But the thing is, like you were talking about earlier, he's got to be able to throw that crossing route, whatever you want to call it. He's got to be able to throw that to run Bobby's offense. Hopefully a year does that, but can these guys coming in, can they throw that route, you think? Can Imaliava, Grayson, I know KJ has probably been working on it for a year now. I feel pretty confident KJ Jackson will be fine as a backup. He battled Malachi Singleton for that job last year. So he knows the offense. I feel like he'll be fine. But as Ruskin and Zach would say it, to me, Taylon Green right now is he's fine. He's serviceable. He's not a game changer.
He's a game changer with his legs.
That next step?
Thanks for your call, David.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Thanks for your call. I think all those are good questions. I do think he's a game changer with his legs. I don't know if he's a game changer with his arm right now. I don't know that you're looking at a guy that is going to be one that you view as a prolific passer right now. I think about, for example, and I'm again not saying Taylon Green's Lamar Jackson, far from it, but Lamar Jackson as a collegiate at Louisville changed the game with his legs. It wasn't until he became a pro that he could change the game with his arm. And I'm not, again, saying Taylon Green's going to turn into that. I'm not sure he is. But I think as a college quarterback, it's his legs where he's had the type ability to make a play that does change the game. And I just think when you look at that position, you can never have too many. I believe that because things can change in a big hurry, and I'm not just talking about injury. Things can change at that spot, and we are far less forgiving now. When it comes to not winning games, developing a quarterback, all the things that go into that. It's a more difficult process now than it once was. If you're Malachi Singleton, you don't want to be a backup again. And why would you? I mean, if you're Malachi Singleton and you're going to be the backup quarterback again, why would you not think about going somewhere else? Each person's got to make the decision that they feel like is best for them. And clearly he's made that decision. Now, I realize today Imala Ava is the one that's getting a lot of the attention. If there'd not been that flip, we'd be talking about Grayson Wilson at Conway, who is a really, really good player for a program that has just gone through the roof in terms of their success. And he's a big-time player. And Arkansas is, they beat out people to get him. But I think at that spot right now, particularly with Singleton leaving, you got to stockpile people. I mean, you really do. You got to stockpile people there. And I just don't think you can have too many. So I'm glad that they got 2 of them yesterday, and it's not going to hurt my feelings if they get another one. And I don't know that that's in their plans. I'm not talking about high school guys. I'm talking about portal guys. But receiver is a big concern now, and you got to go out and get some.
Yeah, Chuck. I mean, look, you've got to have playmakers, right? It sounds so obvious, but it's something that when you look back at the successes the Razorbacks have had since joining the SEC, they've managed to find elite playmakers. And a lot of them have come from inside the state of Arkansas. But, if you look at, just go through the list, Darren McFadden, Jarius Wright, Joe Adams, Marcus Monk, just go through the list of playmakers that the Razorbacks have had. They've been lacking in that area a little bit in recent years. Now, Andrew Armstrong, great player, playmaker, came through many, 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 many times in big moments for the Razorbacks this year. They need more of that. They need more guys like that. And so this is where the portal can really help you, is you can go out and find guys who maybe weren't getting the spotlight at one school, but they can come to Arkansas and be a stud in the SEC and be guys who can change the game. That's where we live now.
All right, back to the phones. Tank's on the line in Fort Smith. Tank, you are on the Chuck and Bo Show.
Hey, good morning, guys. Thanks for taking my call. And my point is, everybody's kind of focusing on the offense. Is there somebody that we got in our sights that's a game changer on defense? Because defense can kind of cover up some of the mistakes of the offense. And I'll get off here and listen to you and see who we got coming on the defensive side of the ball.
All right. Arkansas did sign some defensive players yesterday. Now, I agree with you in terms of game changer on defense. Now, the thing there is everybody's looking for that same guy. To me, Arkansas's game changer on defense this past year, the guy that had the ability to do things maybe others didn't, was Xavier Sorey. Now that's, beyond, Landon Jackson was clearly the best defensive lineman. But Sorey's the guy that really has a chance to roam and range and, do some of the things that you kind of associate with a game changer defensively. They've signed defensive players, and I know that's an emphasis in the portal. They want to get defensive linemen. They want an edge rusher. And they're out there after them. And we'll see if they get them. The one thing that, and I've said this before, is that when you look at the teams in our league that consistently win the championships, there's a game wrecker on defense. There's a guy over there that can just wreck the game. But it's not like everybody's got one. And it's not like they're just in abundance out there. But, yeah, to answer your question, yeah, I mean, Arkansas signed defensive linemen yesterday. For me to sit here and tell you they're going to be great players, I don't know if they are or they aren't. I don't know if they're going to be here.
Never know.
I don't know if they're going to be here a year or two from now. But, yeah, they're signing defensive players, and they're after them in the portal too. And the one thing that I will say, I thought Arkansas last year, if you remember when Pooh Paul left and went to Ole Miss, sky was falling. Oh, it's terrible. What are they going to do for linebackers? I thought as a group, Arkansas's linebackers were better last year than they were the year before. Now, I'm not saying that the loss of Pooh Paul wasn't a loss. I'm not suggesting that at all. But Xavier Sori was good. Brad Spence, if you really look at the numbers, last 3 or 4 weeks, he's been playing his best football as a Razorback. Stephen Dix, good football player. Beat out Spence to start several times this year. I thought as a unit they got better. This freshman from Hoover, and I hope they keep him. I have no idea what these kids are going to do now. This Shaw kid, he's a player, and they like him. He's a prototypical linebacker type when I look at him. And I think as a group they got better there. So, again, the offensive guys, and the caller makes a point, the offensive guys are the ones that we're going to know their names, we're going to know their stats, we're going to know everything about them. Defensive guys, not so much. But I thought last year on the defensive side of the ball, from a portal perspective, they did pretty well. Not over the top well, but there's a reason why Arkansas's defense was better this past year. And a lot of that is because of the guys that they got through the portal.
Can I get real, like, can we really do some football sports talk here?
Well,
for just
I don't
a second?
know. I don't know.
Is that allowed?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So I think one thing I've noticed watching the Razorbacks the past 4, 5, 6 years, however long it's been, is that they haven't had an ability to get to the quarterback rushing 4 guys. Right.
Who does though?
Right,
really?
Right. No. The
does?
best teams do. The best teams do. That's the short answer. Is your teams like Georgia, Texas, Texas A&M, Ole Miss, teams at the top of the league. That's this year. That's what they can do. But can you get to the quarterback rushing 4 on occasion? Can you get to the quarterback rushing 5? Can you get to a situation where the quarterback doesn't have all day to throw, and you're not relying on your defensive backs to cover for ages and ages out there? That's where we've seen Arkansas struggle at times defensively the past several years. They got to find that difference maker along the line of scrimmage. I'm just churching up what you were saying, Chuck. That's all.
Well, that's all.
Not even doing it better than you.
877-377-6963. Quick break. Back with more in a moment. This is the Chuck and Bo Show. Good morning. It's going to be a tough slog from now till the end of time.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
The holidays are all about making moments that matter. At Blakeman's Fine Jewelry, we're here to help you find a gift as special as the people you love. From sparkling diamonds to classic watches and colorful gemstones, we have something for everyone on your list. Stop by Blakeman's in Rogers and let us help you make this holiday one to remember. Because at Blakeman's, it's more than jewelry. It's your story. Blakeman's Fine Jewelry.
Flight by Yingling is the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling and Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Thank you all for your show. It's a great format in the morning. It's really nice to have knowledgeable people to wake up to and listen to. So thank you all.
Together we stand as tall as the Tower of Old Maid. Our memories are etched in stone like names on senior walk, and our blood flows razorback red. For 100 years, we've been hog wild, And today we continue the tradition. We are Arkansas Razorbacks.
Listen to every Razorback football game this season right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
The American Patriot Promotions Gun Show is coming to Malvern December 7th and 8th at the Hot Springs County Fairgrounds. Join us Saturday, December 7th from 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. and Sunday, December 8th from 9 till 3. Tickets are just $10 per person, $8 for police, and only $5 for veterans in the military. Children 16 and under are free. Go to AmericanPatriotPromotions.com.
Hey, this is Dr. Charlie Liggett at River Valley Smile Center. You may know me as your local dentist, but I'm a giant Hogs, Dolphins, and college baseball fan as well. Listen to me, Phil, and Matt talk about our 3 ups and downs for the weekend every Monday on halftime at 12:15. At River Valley Smile Center, we're a comprehensive dental facility that offers children's dentistry, dental implants, sedation, whitening, and much, much more. Dr. Cole Johnson, Dr. Hannah Cave, and myself are located at 8309 Phoenix Avenue in Fort Smith. River Valley Smile Center. When you come here, you become family.
The Solid Rock has been locally owned for over 46 years. When was the last time you were there? So much more than a bookstore. They have Christian t-shirts, church supplies, Bible studies, devotionals, home decor, gifts, and of course, a large selection of Bibles. And Bibles are engraved free of charge while you wait. Now, you can get custom laser engraving on select gift items and some Bibles. Located next to Sam's Club on South 74th, The Solid Rock is your source for faith-based books, music, clothing, and more. The Solid Rock, 452-4844.
Remodeling your bathroom? Don't let your imagination be limited by out-of-the-box shower doors or tub enclosures. Arkansas Glass and Mirror is your local source for all things glass, including plexiglass, mirrors, and shower doors since 1964. Arkansas Glass and Mirror has more selections, better prices, and the experience to help you build the shower of your dreams. They also have the only showroom in the area to help you create those dreams. Professional installation and professional service. Only at Arkansas Glass and Mirror, 1316 South Zero, Fort Smith, or online at arkansasglassandmirror.com.
The holiday season can be stressful. Luckily, Dave and the crew at Eastside Liquor has everything you need for this time of year. Crowded homes, annoying relatives call for peppermint schnapps, or maybe you're just a typical brown water guy. It really doesn't matter, because Eastside Liquor can take care of everything you need. 9390 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith with a convenient drive-thru. And you can call them, 479-452-7311. Eastside Liquor, everyday low prices on beer, wine, spirits, and cigars.
Hey everybody, this is Tyson Van. Dad, tell everyone about your job at Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash.
Power washing, son. I've been working in the business for over 15 years, all over the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas, residential or commercial. At Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash, our cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, pool deck cleansing, and more.
Call my dad at 479-763-5561.
Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. One call cleans it all. Finding your joy in cycling is the main goal at Champion Cycling. Champion Cycling takes pride in helping you find the right bike. Whether it's a road bike, mountain bike, or just a bike for leisure, Champion Cycling has a great selection of bikes, including brands like Specialized Surly and Salsa. Need service or repair? The friendly, professionally trained technicians will assess your bike's needs and provide you with a free, no-obligation estimate. Find your joy in cycling at Champion Cycling, 5500 Mazur Road in Fort Smith.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
We have one commercial break in the hour that is what we call, in the industry, a hard break. Meaning, in other words, it's going to fire.
Meaning it's not soft.
Yeah, whether it's not a soft break.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
We'll have one of those hard breaks coming up at the top of the hour, so that'll be something to look forward to. Sterling is on the line in Center Ridge. Sterling, you're on the Chuck and Bo Show.
Hey, Bo. Chuck, sorry, excuse me.
Bo is on assignment today.
Chuck, you're doing a great job as always. Back in the day, that was sports rap.
That's been a long time.
Guys, yeah, I've been following you a long time, and I was just thinking with the passing of Bob Holt, I guess it's you, Richard Davenport, Orville, and Bob are the only guys in Arkansas media that I've really wanted to meet and haven't met face to face.
Well, you're welcome anytime. And I hope we get a chance to do that.
And I'm going to have to make that happen now. I mean, you know, you always think you got plenty of time to do those type things until you don't have time. And, you know, never in a million years I thought that, we all know tomorrow's not promised to any of us, but, you know, you just think, it's just a shock. And I hear people saying that different players leaving has been a gut punch. Well, this is the gut punch for me.
Devastating.
I mean, I was reading Bob Holt before I knew I was reading Bob Holt. You know what I mean?
That's a pretty good way to put it.
So I don't know. I mean, it feels like even though you don't know him personally, you kind of
you feel like you do.
You read and you hear him. Yeah, it stings. It got a real sting to it this morning. I've been hearing you talk about the program and Bart, and I just think the fan base needs to get in our heads that no matter, unless something's changed fundamentally, things are going to be the same no matter who the coach is. The only thing,
what do you think hang on, let me stop you just a second. What do you think the fundamental change is? You're a pretty knowledgeable guy. I respect your opinion. What do you think the fundamental change needs to be?
For this day and time, it has to be, you have to have your money above the high spending.
Money's got to be right.
If you want to be, if you want to be as good as them, you got to have more money than them, and I don't think never going to be the case. And back before NIL got started, you had to expand your recruiting base. You have to get everybody that's great in Arkansas and North Texas. You have to be above. I mean, when it comes to recruiting, you have to be above the Oklahoma State, the TCUs, the Baders. After A&M, after Texas A&M and Oklahoma, you got to be next in this region. You have to be the next one. And I don't think we haven't been that in quite some time. But it was a time when we were. In fact, I think it was one time it was Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. And then, you know, the rest of those other teams come around. We have never been good when TCU, Baylor, Oklahoma State, when those teams are good. We've never been good when they're good. When we're good, they're not good. And I just think we got to somehow get higher than that. And I don't know if that's ever going to happen again, no matter who the coach is, unless you get like I said, a big sponsor. And I mean a big one.
All right, Sterling, thank you.
You do an amazing job, man.
Thank you, Sterling. I appreciate your call. And, I mean, money's a big part of it. I mean, money may be the part of it for a lot of them. And, you know, we want to hold on to this ideal. And I'm part of this group, too. We want to hold on to the ideal that kids grow up dreaming of playing for a certain team, work their butts off during high school, make sacrifices other kids don't make, earn a scholarship, represent their hometown, put on the seal of their state, go out and represent Arkansas or Tennessee or Missouri or pick your state. We're hanging on as long as we can to that ideal, that that's how this is going to work, that there are still going to be kids out there, not just some kids, but enough kids to help you win at a high level. We're holding on to this as hard as we can, and it's gone. And it's just the truth. The exception to the rule now is the kid that is going to follow through with playing for his childhood dream team, even though the offer that he gets from somewhere else is better. We're holding on to the ideal that kids are going to do that. And there are a handful here and there who do. But you're going to lose kids because of that as well. And that's just the reality of the situation. And we look at kids leaving now, whereas before, there were generally 1, 2, 3 reasons. Weren't playing, didn't like the coach. It was a commentary on the way things were going. Now you've got good players for good teams that are leaving, not just here, but everywhere. I was looking at some of the numbers on the guys that announced portal additions yesterday from other schools, and some of them are pretty good. They're guys who played. So everybody's got a different reason for doing it. It's hard to put that blanket explanation on things the way we once could. You really have to look at things individually because every individual's got a different mission. Jason's in Fayetteville. Jason, you're on the Chuck and Bo Show.
Hey, good morning, guys. How are y'all today?
Doing okay. How are you?
Doing real well. First of all, Chuck, right after Halloween, I had a pocket full of peanut M&Ms, Snickers, and Milky Ways, and the 80-year-old man in the yellow jacket punked me out right there at the end before I could hand it to you. I was thinking about your candy selection.
That's brutal,
man. I'll try to get that to you later in the year.
Thank you.
The reason I was calling is to talk about Isaiah Satanian entering the portal and my thoughts on that. I think what you're about to see is Satania go to Minnesota. He's been contacted quite often by his friend Drake Lindsay, and I think everybody in this local area is about to get to see the answer to what they've been wondering. Did we let talent go? Because Drake should be the starting quarterback next year, and Satania will, at level with Minnesota, able to probably see the field and get some action. So I just wanted to hear your thoughts on that, and I hope you guys have a great day.
All right. Thank you, Jason. I don't know if he's going to Minnesota or not. You may be right. Sounds like you've got some knowledge on that situation. I don't know where he's going to go. I would imagine, and I don't want to, you don't want to suppose too much because, again, everyone's got a different reason. But I'm sure he wants to catch the ball more. I mean, I'm pretty certain of that. I don't know what role NIL money plays in this. I don't know. He's an Arkansas kid, so, the natural thought would be that, well, he'd have more opportunities in that area in Arkansas. But the truth of the matter is most of the NIL dollars, your name, image, and likeness comes from just wearing the logo and walking out the door. It's not like you're actually doing commercials for companies. It's not like you're actually representing someone, wearing their logo. You're basically compensated for putting that logo on and going about your day. And obviously the play. But sometimes it's not play for pay. It's just pay. I mean, that's just kind of how it works in some instances. But I don't know his reason. My suspicion is it's less about money and more about touches. And you may be right. He may be, if that's where he goes, he may be walking into a great situation. I wish him well. I've found him to be a nice kid, good family. And, hope that whatever he's looking for, he finds. 877-377-6963. This is the Chuck and Bo Show. Good morning.
Bo, if I was as good a husband as you are, a man on the radio, my wife would bow to me every day. You guys are top notch.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Did you know the CDC reports as many as 3 out of 4 Americans suffer from sleep disorders? The more severe condition is called obstructive sleep apnea, and if left untreated, can increase the risk of death by 17%. It can also lead to conditions like obesity, high blood pressure, heart condition, and stroke. If you have sleep disorder breathing, it's important to treat it properly. The standard treatment's a breathing machine called CPAP. It helps you breathe during the night. However, there are other options, and thanks to some truly innovative and proven technologies provided by one of our own Arkansas surgeons, Dr. Scotty Bolding, there are alternative treatments that may eliminate the need to wear CPAP every night. Dr. Bolding at Precedent Center for Facial and Dental Medicine works carefully with your sleep physician, determines where the underlying obstruction may be, and provides surgical solutions that open the airway, allowing you to breathe better. Call Dr. Bolding's office today at 479-755-3000 for a consultation and tell them you heard it on the Chuck and Bo Show.
You know the sound, you know the place, and you know the time of year that means live racing at Oaklawn is coming. If If your Oak Lawn is playing favorites, letting it ride on long shots, or just soaking up the vibes of race day, it's time to make your plans and discover your Oak Lawn. Live racing starts Friday, December 6th. Reserve seats, rooms in our hotel, or a spot in your favorite Oak Lawn restaurant at oaklawn.com.
This is my Oak Lawn.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Having great vision enhances every part of life. That's why I go to McDonald Eye Associates. Whether it's a pair of readers or LASIK surgery, you know you're in good hands. You've heard former quarterback and now coach Ty Storey talk about his great LASIK results with McDonald Eye. The surgeons there have done more LASIK procedures than anybody in the state of Arkansas and have helped numerous athletes get better results through improved vision. When it comes to vision, nobody sees it like McDonald Eye.
Save up to $15,000 off. The Red Tag savings are back at Chevrolet of Fayetteville. Your choice. Save up to $15,000 off new Silverados or up to $15,000 off new Blazer EVs. That's how we do Red Tag savings at Chevrolet of Fayetteville in the Fayetteville Auto Park. Proud sponsor of the Chuck and Bo Show. Together, let's drive. ChevroletofFayetteville.com. Savings include dealer discounts and all incentives on select models. Must qualify. See dealer for details. Expires 12/2/24.
'Tis the holiday season, a special delight, with gifts all around and spirits so bright. Watch closely now, for there's one more surprise, a gift that brings comfort with joy in our eyes. The family rejoices, their excitement takes flight. With a new Pascal heated air system, they're snug every night. Give your family the gift of true comfort with over $5,100 in savings. Plus, receive a whole home duct cleaning on qualifying systems. Special financing available with no payments and no interest. Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
I don't know what odd time is for you, but yeah, you got here before the show started.
Whatever. Hey, have you ever seen anyone that takes so much pride in being the first one here?
Hey, it's Ty Richardson, and we are live at Lily's Sandwich Shop in the Bakery District. Jose, but what we got whipping up today, man?
Man, today's special. We have the French toast turkey melt, kind of a special sandwich. It really didn't put us on the map, but it did put a star by our name.
Daily specials every day at the award-winning Lily's Sandwich Shop. And if you don't believe me, ask Lily.
My name is Lily. My papa makes the best sandwiches at Lily's Sandwich Shop. I'm buying them at the Bakery District today.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's #1 mobile app for placing sports wagers.
In Arkansas, 7 out of every $10 placed on a sporting bet app is with Bet Saracen, because Bet Saracen offers more ways to win and more ways to get paid, and faster. Find your winners on Bet Saracen and look for my Double R prop bet specials. I pick them and you win them.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's favorite sports wagering app.
Gambling problem? Call 800-522-4700.
Hey, this is Dr. Cole Johnson at River Valley Smile Center. You hear my partner, Dr. Charles Liggett, at 12:15 on halftime every Monday. Dr. Liggett and I have worked at River Valley Smile Center together for 11 years now. Like the Hogs, we have a great team. Do you have a unique dental procedure, a complex dental problem, or are you just nervous about dental work? Come see me for sedation dentistry, implants, implant-supported dentures, as well as cosmetic dentistry. We are located at 8309 Phoenix Avenue in Fort Smith at the River Valley Smile Center. Check us out online at rivervalleysmiles.com or call 479-646-0706.
Hey, Ty Richardson for Jam Mart. Brad, Tyson, and their entire team are so thankful this time of year during the holidays. We appreciate all of our customers that enjoy the beverage bar at Boonville, the hot food at Phoenix, and the deli at Jam Mart number 10. We know you're loving the updated pumps at our gas stations, and we're continuing to strive to find new creative ways to improve every single day. If you love Jam Mart, please leave us a 5-star review on Google. Happy holidays from your friends at Jam Mart.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
If your performance is like it is blocking, if your performance is in our secondary is like it in your real life, they're going to call you in the office, shut you down, look you in the eye, and tell you two simple words. Hit the road, you're fired.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
2 simple words. Hit the road. You're fired. Glad you're back. Thursday morning. Bo's off on assignment. 877-377-6963. Coming up after the top of the hour, the one and only Clay Henry. The amazing Clay Henry will join us after the top of the hour. If you are just joining us, and we'll talk about this a little bit more on the other side. Bob Holt passed away late last night, longtime writer for the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. And the tributes, and Bart read one a little bit earlier from Hunter Yurachek, and there will be others that will be coming in during the course of the day today. I know we're going to touch on that, obviously, and talk about Bob with Clay. We got recruiting, got Razorback football. Chuck and Bo Show, good morning.
13 Days of Deals starts now at Fayetteville Auto Park. There's never been a better time to buy. For the next 13 days only, everything is on sale. Aggressively priced up front, based on the Kelley Blue Book Price Advisor. Tons of pre-owned below $29,999, plus all your favorite new models. Honda, Acura, Toyota, Chevrolet, and more. Our biggest sales event ever. Now through November 30th at Fayetteville Auto Park. If you've been waiting for the best time to buy, this is it. Tons of new and pre-owned vehicles to choose. The deals of the year are here at Fayetteville Auto Park. We've got a great selection of pre-owned, many priced under $29,999, but only for a limited time. Closeout pricing means you save big on every new or pre-owned. What are you waiting for? You've only got a few days to lock in these limited time offers. Absolutely ends November 30th at Fayetteville Auto Park. Proud sponsor of the Chuck and Bo Show, located on West Showroom Drive in Fayetteville. Online at FayettevilleAutoPark.com. Pre-owned sale. All offers mutually exclusive. Expires 11/30/24.
Flight by Yingling. It's the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass. Raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling and Son Incorporated. Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Guys, regardless of our age, feeling good is something we all want. That's what the Sweatnum Edge is all about. It's where health, confidence, and peak performance come together. We all face challenges like low energy, hair loss, who's looking at me, stubborn weight, and skin health. The good news is we can do something about it. Get your free evaluation today and see where you are. Chuck and I have both done it and are better off for it. Log on to SweatnumCosmetic.com and click on the Sweatnum Edge.
We bring in players. They didn't grow up with a woo big shirt. They don't bleed hot red. They bleed money.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Arkansas is special. Our people are honest and hardworking. The Brad Hendricks Law Firm is pure Arkansas. We were raised here. We live here. And we're straight shooters. Unfortunately, out-of-state lawyers who care nothing about Arkansas are advertising for your legal business. They don't understand that you don't hand Arkansans a pile of cow dung and try to tell us it's a rose. Don't be just a number. Call the Brad Hendricks Law Firm. Tradition, reputation, results.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, ample sunshine. Our high this afternoon, mid-30s north, mid-40s south. Clear skies overnight will drop down into the lower 20s. We're back to sunshine on Friday, a high on Friday, right around 45, and then Saturday, mixture clouds and sunshine, highs in the low to mid-50s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by In Good Spirits, Fort Smith's premier source for fine wines, specialty beers, and liquor.
Colorworks Paint and Body in Barling offers professional automotive painting, bodywork, and fabrication that is unsurpassed in talent and dedication. Owner Andy Herod uses the latest in collision repair technology to ensure all damage is addressed, whether it's visible or hidden, and works with all insurance companies. Andy and his crew have the experience and commitment to give you complete trust in the repair of your vehicle, no matter the size of the job. Colorworks is located at 1206 4th Street in Barling, across from Dollar General, and is on Facebook, where you can check out their work.
Finally, football season. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria is your #1 place to watch Arkansas and Monday Night Football. During Monday Night Football, $5 refillable beer cups for only $2 refills. Prizes for each score and at the end of every single quarter.
Can you believe that they've had the same great pizza since 1996? That's nearly 30 years.
Papa's Pub and Pizzeria. You'll get the best darn pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
You're listening to ESPN 95.3, KERX Paris, Fort Smith.
I'm going to fight like hell for the University of Arkansas the entire time that I'm the head coach.
Fall is here, and that means cooler weather, football, and family, which makes it the perfect time to visit Southern Tire Mart, your family's #1 tire store. Southern Tire Mart is your trusted partner for top quality tires, professional services, and competitive pricing. Visit us in Fort Smith at 9700 Highway 271 and let us ensure your vehicle is ready for anything fall brings your way. Southern Tire Mart is a proud dealer of Yokohama tires. We keep America rolling.
Waldron Wave Rural Connect. Internet is now available in your area. Fast fiber internet and full-featured home phone are ready for you. This covers areas around Waldron, Bates, Winfield, Y-City, and more. Check out your address online today. The best whole home solution of internet and phone, all from a local provider you can trust. Order online at signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Hey, Hog fans, this is Matt.
This is Elizabeth.
And this is Robert, and we're with the Stadium Shop on Razorback in Fayetteville. The largest Razorback store south of the North Pole. I should say it?
Say what?
Mom, I think he wants to say that it's Christmas time.
Okay, you can say it.
It's Christmas, everyone, and guess what, guys?
What?
Santa shop's here at the Stadium Shop. Oh, Lord, Mom, here comes that dad side. Nope, I saw him. Matt, you still do believe in Santa, right? Sure. Believers do get more presents.
Okay, so what did he get?
Let me guess, a couch for the elves, collars for the reindeer, maybe even a hoodie for Frosty. You know how cold he gets being made of snow and all.
And let me guess, some Razorback jewelry for Mrs. Claus?
Well, yeah, Matt, you better get that Google machine all warmed up. He said he was going to be ordering some more stuff.
Google machine?
Yeah, you know, the interfacegram www. I think he's talking about our website, which you should know by now, Dad. It's shoponrazorback.com.
Or have Santa give us a call at 479-STADIUM. That's 479-782-3486.
So come by 989 South Razorback Road in Fayetteville, and you just might catch Santa Hog. Folks, it does not get more Razorback than us. Ho, ho, hogs.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
Previously heard on Chuck and Bo.
What latte did you get?
This is a...
I'm dying to know.
This is a gingerbread latte with oat milk.
Good God.
I knew.
Good God. I mean, really.
I knew that was coming.
Bart comes out of Starbucks and accidentally gets into a minivan. He's like, I don't know what took over me, but I definitely should be in this minivan. Where are the kids? Did somebody leave them at soccer practice?
I hate
The Chuck and Bo Show.
That was a call play, and I called it.
Back to Safe Sports Radio.
I'm ready to roll right now,
Can you believe we're doing this?
This brings back.
Just like old times.
This is getting ridiculous, Bo.
Hello.
Because Arkansas is growing, it deserves an intelligent sports radio.
Two ball play guys with a face for radio.
I'm here, boys.
Here is Chuck Barrett and Bo Mattingly.
So what's the Christmas coffee of choice, Bart? What is one who drinks coffee and celebrates Christmas? What do you get at the drive-thru this time of year?
Probably just black coffee. It's cold. It's only getting up to
cold.
37 today.
It's cold outside. It's cold outside.
Can't do that. Just keep the hot black coffee pumping.
It's not even going to get to 40 if you're in Northwest Arkansas. So it's going to be that kind of day. Glad you're with us. Bo's off on assignment, and we're carrying on. If you've not been with us during the course of the program today, we began the show with the sad news that Bob Holt, longtime reporter of the Arkansas Democrat, or at the Arkansas Democrat Gazette, passed away early this morning. Bob suffered a medical emergency after the game Saturday night up in Columbia. He'd been downstairs for Sam Pittman's press conference. He was coming back up and collapsed, never regained consciousness. We've not discussed it much this week. In fact, we've really not discussed it at all on the air. There's been a lot of private conversation about it, out of respect to the family, also out of respect to the staff of the Democrat Gazette. It was their place to make the announcement. And Wally Hall did late last night, early this morning. And as Wally said, Bob was one of the last great true journalists, unfailingly fair. And that was one thing that you could always count on. A genuinely good person. represented the part of the journalism industry, and it's it's a smaller part than it once was. That was always fair. Did not come at things with a predisposition or from a predisposition. You always knew when Bob gave you the information about something that it was going to be accurate and it was going to be unbiased. And that's the way he operated. The one thing that, and this is just from a personal standpoint, the one thing I guess I take a little bit of comfort in is I know that Bob was doing exactly what he loved to do at a place that he loved. Bob was a graduate of the University of Missouri Journalism School, one of the finer journalism schools in our country. And he was proud of that. Bob loved the University of Missouri. I'm not talking about the Missouri Tigers. I'm talking about the University of Missouri. Bob never, one time, ever, had any sort of bias in his reporting toward the Missouri Tigers. But I can tell you from many, many conversations with Bob over the years, he was very, very proud of the University of Missouri. So, that's the one thing that I do think about in the aftermath of all this. But a wonderful person and a really fine journalist and somebody who's going to be missed by a whole lot of folks, including Clay Henry, who joins us on the line. Clay, you and Bob, as we say in the South, go way back. And I know that you've got a lot of thoughts on it, too.
Yeah, Chuck, you did that well and said a lot of the things that I wanted to say and did it well. Just think about it in these terms. 40-something years I've been in press boxes with Bob, and out of great courtesy of the university, we often sit side by side, 50-yard line. And that would be from 2 hours before a game to 2 to 3 hours after a game. So you're talking about, 8 hours. And I'm not talking about just football. That comes to mind. But it would be basketball. It would be baseball. It would be track. It would be everything. And, there might be times where, his car is out of whack. He needs a ride. And he certainly took care of others in that same respect, whether it be Nate Allen or just anybody. Always thinking about his fellow man. And I want to just think about it in these terms. He wrote the last word on probably 1,000 Razorbacks, the obituaries that were in the sports section, not the obits that, ran in the obits section. But when a great Razorback died, you had to have the final word. And if you go back and you read those and the care that he took to make sure those were done right, and I don't mean just the facts, but the kind of people they were and talking to their friends and running them down in the same dogged way that he asked questions in press conferences. And Chuck, you were at those press conferences, and he'd ask a question and the coach might dodge the question. He'd just circle back and ask it again. He might change the words slightly. And we all remember the different coaches through the years that would finally just throw their hands up and say, Bob, what do you want me to say? And we all, we saw it coming. We've been through that. We knew what was going on. And you got to the day, and got to have some humor with this, Chuck. It is a sad, tough day, but we can laugh with our friend because we love him. And I don't mean, just love to be around him. No, the guys in the media, even the young ones that weren't there, there's so many that came through the pipeline that they didn't make it in sports journalism. They were smart enough to get out, and get a real job and get out of the toys and games. But those people love him, and they were mentored by him. And Anthony Christensen, who's a young, really talented sports writer at Whole Hog Sports, talks about how Bob coached him, in press conferences, and he watched how he did things, and you knew that was the right way. But it's Man, I'm about to lose my train of thought.
That's
I was
all right.
Going somewhere.
That's all right.
But Chuck, it's we know the intimate details of Bob because there's so much dead time, watching baseball games, and he talk about his cats. You're a dog guy, I'm a dog guy. Man, this is funny, but he was allergic to cats, but he had cats everywhere. I mean, and there was cat hair all over him, and it's like, Bob, you might not have asthma, you might not be coughing if you get rid of those damn cats. But he loved them, and that was part of Bob. Coach Cal did a nice job the other night, Chuck, and that was a great win for him. First really good win that he'd had, but he took special care to talk about our friend, and that tells you a little bit about his soul, and his faith, and his that he wanted the state to know. In whatever little way he could do it, but that press box was so bad Saturday night. The media, they suffered so, and if anybody read any of those stories and they didn't get what they wanted out of them, there's a reason why. I mean,
that's the one thing that I don't know that people understand. Yeah, people knew what had happened. The writers, not just our writers, but the writers. Everyone that was in there knew what had happened and still had to go about writing their stories.
Yeah.
And I know that was difficult.
Some of them, the David Basil and Tom Murphy and Christine, I wasn't there. I don't travel anymore. But they all went to the hospital before they went home. And by then there was a little bit of smattering of families starting to get there. And they said, please go home. Y'all have done enough. And, expressed their – and there was a lack of information for the last few days. And that's why the family is like, listen, this is not the story. Please don't, y'all do your jobs. And I wasn't there, so I didn't hear the conversations, but they've been relayed to me. And so, we, in a rare instance, the media did not report, out of respect to, Bob's sister and the in-laws of his late brother. His brother died a year ago. Heart attack, and we're not told exactly, was there a stroke, was it a heart attack? He had AFib, kind of guessed it, what it is, but it doesn't really matter. That's not a detail that's important. It is important that we talk about Bob, and that we, the media, we know him. Like I said, 40 years. There's a great picture that Matt Jones sent me a few nights ago, and I mean we've stayed up talking about him, hoping, praying for a miracle, but knowing what was likely to happen. And so we've started this grieving process. But he sent me a picture. The Cotton Bowl press box is a wonderful spot. It's it's a celebration of the two teams that got there, and for years that they were champions in most respects. And there's a picture from the 1990, the 89 season. They would have a photographer that would go down press row and take a picture of two people together, three people together, just kind of a side shot. And there's a picture of a young Bob Holt with my father, and I'll cherish that picture forever. And I know my dad loved Bob, and they talked about. They had rich conversations in the press box because they sat beside each other too. So I'm rambling, Chuck.
No, that's all right. No. I'm hanging on your every word, honestly, because you and Bob go back further than most. I recounted this in the first hour. I guess that I recall, my first recollection of knowingly reading a Bob Holt column or article was when Jerry Jones bought the Cowboys. And this was a different era when the newspaper really was it was the Daily Record. There was no internet. There was no going anywhere else, really. No talk radio. There was no going anywhere else for information other than the newspaper. And so the Democrat Gazette moved Bob to Dallas to cover the Cowboys. And, I thought it was the greatest thing in the world that an Arkansas guy was in Dallas, and I could read about the Cowboys every day. And, that was it was a plum assignment. but it was also a plum assignment given to a young guy that obviously they knew could handle it.
Boy, he could handle anything. I mean, he really could. But it's, you know, and the other thing that I remember about Bob is that Nolan and the Democrat Gazette were at odds.
Oh, yeah.
Contentious. I mean, it was, and you know, some of that was Wally, but most of it was John
Robert Starr. That's right.
Who was not a sports writer. He was the managing editor, I think. And he took shots at Nolan, and bless his heart, he's gone. I don't want to talk too much about him. But most of it was unfair, and it was needling, and it was in such a way that you couldn't help but miss it, and it was the talk of the town. And so Nolan would go into those press conferences. He didn't want to see anybody from Democrat Gazette. And here's Bob having to ask the questions, and sometimes tough questions after losses. And he could do it, and do it in such respect and kindness that Nolan came to love him too, just like we did. And but that was that. You know, when Bob went into the Arkansas Sports Writers and Hall of Fame, Sports Writers and Sportscasters Hall of Fame, we did cameos of, you know, for the honorees, so that the person inducting them wouldn't have to talk 30 minutes. Because that's what, you know, it would be like a eulogy. You get up and you talk and you talk. Instead, we just have like some little light cameo, like Peyton Manning did Chris Mortensen's. And I had Nolan do Bob's, and he relished in that. And it was classic. Bob, I wish I was there. Not going to be there. But if I was, I would be asking you questions until this thing was completely over. You know, one question after another. And it was just priceless. Bob loved it. And I thought it was pretty appropriate that, you know, for his you know, as they say, you know, the March Madness, the one shiny moment, Nolan was there for him.
Yeah. All right, we're going to hit a break. The awkward part in this is that we remember our friend at the same time that life goes on. And it's not just that way in this situation. It's that way anytime you lose a family member. It's that way anytime you lose someone you love. You mourn as life goes on. And I've got some things I want to get into with you as we move through the hour. And we're going to do that when we come back. 877-377-6963. Clay Henry on the line with us. Back with more in a moment. This is the Chuck and Bo Show.
The way you guys have fancied up the pig in the blanket, I mean, it's just kolache now is part of my vocabulary.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
I always enjoy talking about Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. If you followed my radio career, you remember they were partners on the original sports rap radio program over 20 years ago. We've done business together from an advertising perspective, but more importantly, they've been my partners in buying and selling homes. I'd recommend them to anybody. They're in Northwest Arkansas, the River Valley, and in Branson. Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, turning houses into homes since 1978.
First Security is about more than great banking. Yes, we provide the financial expertise, digital tools, and everything else you need when you need it. But we also go all in on local support with friendly professionals, plus convenient locations all across the state. Because we believe personal banking is better banking. Visit fsbank.com for details. That's fsbank.com for friendly, local banking with First Security. Bank better. Member FDIC.
Save up to $15,000 off. The Red Tag savings are back at Chevrolet of Fayetteville. Your choice. Save up to $15,000 off new Silverados or up to $15,000 off new Blazer EVs. That's how we do Red Tag savings at Chevrolet of Fayetteville in the Fayetteville Auto Park. Proud sponsor of the Chuck and Bo Show. Together, let's drive. ChevroletofFayetteville.com. Savings include dealer discounts and all incentives on select models. Must qualify. See dealer for details. Expires 12/2/24.
Is your hot water heater letting you down? No one likes cold showers. We want to be able to count on our hot water. That's why Pasco Air Plumbing and Electric has an offer that comes with the peace of mind I value. Get this, for just $17.76, you can get a 40 to 50 gallon water heater fully supplied and installed by their licensed and insured technicians backed by a comprehensive warranty. For less than $2,000? Yeah, price check it. It's a deal. Just log on to gopascal.com and don't worry about hot water anymore.
Just thinking, what is a Pirates' favorite college football team?
Say it, Bart.
Arkansas.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Adventure Oklahoma by Auto Finders is your one-stop shop for adventure. Plus, no one else includes a standard 5-year warranty on all ATVs. Right now, it's the Segway Season of Savings event going on. You can choose between 0.99% financing for 36 months or up to $3,000 off select UTV models in stock with payments as low as $199 per month. This offer ends soon. High-tech power sports and affordability for all adventure enthusiasts. Segway, fear no place. Visit Adventure Oklahoma in Roland. Brought to you by Auto Finders, AutoFindersOK.com. Adventure Dave says your journey starts here. Adventure Oklahoma by Auto Finders is your one-stop shop for adventure. Plus, no one else includes a standard 5-year warranty on all ATVs. It's the all-cylinder sales event. Rebates up to $1,500 and financing as low as 0.99% on select moto side-by-sides at ATVs. Payments as low as $99 per month with approved credit. Visit CFMotoUSA.com. CF Moto, ride without compromise. Visit Adventure Oklahoma in Roland. Brought to you by Auto Finders. AutoFindersOK.com. Adventure Dave says your journey starts here. CF Moto cares about your safety, so read your owner's manual before operating. And be sure to ask us about rider training.
Hey, Ty Richardson for Cut Above Lawn and Landscaping. Does your yard need to be serviced in the fall and winter months? Of course. A Cut Above is with you every step of the way. Whether it's commercial or residential, a Cut Above can handle all your needs. Tree service, stump grinding, brush hog, full landscaping. Plus, a Cut Above can take care of all your leaf removal. Call or text today at 479-719-5605. That's a Cut Above, 719-5605.
Hey, Hog fans, this is Matt.
This is Elizabeth.
And this is Robert, and we're with the Stadium Shop on Razorback in Fayetteville. The largest Razorback store south of the North Pole. I should say it?
Say what?
Mom, I think he wants to say that it's Christmas time.
Okay, you can say it.
It's Christmas, everyone, and guess what, guys?
What?
Santa shop's here at the Stadium Shop. Oh, Lord, Mom, here comes that dad side. Nope, I saw him. Matt, you still do believe in Santa, right? Sure. Believers do get more presents.
Okay, so what did he get?
Let me guess, a couch for the elves, collars for the reindeer, maybe even a hoodie for Frosty. You know how cold he gets being made of snow and all.
And let me guess, some Razorback jewelry for Mrs. Claus?
Well, yeah, Matt, you better get that Google machine all warmed up. He said he was going to be ordering some more stuff.
Google machine?
Yeah, you know, the Interfacegram WW. I think he's talking about our website, which you should know by now, Dad. It's shoponrazorback.com.
Or have Santa give us a call at 479-STADIUM. That's 479-782-3486.
So come by 989 South Razorback Road in Fayetteville, and you just might catch Santa Hog. Folks, it does not get more Razorback than us. Ho, ho, hogs.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
A lot of times critics don't know what the hell they're talking about, and I don't think they know much what they're talking about on this one either.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
All right, we welcome you back as we continue on the Chuck and Bo Show. Bo's off on assignment today. Clay Henry is here. The amazing Clay Henry joins us on the line from somewhere in the Netherlands out there. We have, as we'll continue to do, talk about the passing of Bob Holt, our friend, our colleague, and longtime journalist for the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. There's also plenty of Razorback news. And, Clay, I made this comment earlier. Yesterday was one of those days when you look at the news that came out of the Carmona and Satania and all the things that have happened the last few days, Petrino staying and Singleton leaving. And there's if you had a predisposition about this week, there's been something to fuel your fire because it seems like every day, good, bad, and everything in between, there's going to be stuff come down the pike.
Yeah, I think that you did a good job Monday on, saying the change is going to be like 40 players coming and going. I don't know if that's how you said it, but it was
maybe more.
Yeah, well, what the point is that this is the way this is life now in college football. And I looked at the roster I like to just take the rosters, the flip cards, and just go down both sides. And one, I want to see where all the players have come from. And in Arkansas, they've come from everywhere. And I don't know many of the names, Chuck. I'll be honest. There probably was a time that you could say number 42, and I could tell you who he was. And I did that on the spur. Like I'm talking at a Razorback club, and somebody had asked me about a player, and I could tell you who they were, where they were from, how many years they played, if they were going to play. Can't do that anymore. It's you can because you're studying the rosters in a different way to do play-by-play. But my point is that that's the way it'll be again next year and the next year after that until something happens and we get a salary cap or we get a, no transfer rule or a one transfer rule or you sit out, for 1 year, something that will lock this down a little bit. And I'm not saying that needs to happen. Everybody's got their own opinion of whether that would be good or not. I know Ken Hatfield told me that's what's got to happen. But until then, there's nothing you can do to keep this from happening. No matter, you can sit down with Isaiah Satania and say, hey, we're going to bump you up to this. Well, he can go find more. That's just, that's just the way of the world. I mean, it's American business. You can find somebody that wants you and is willing to pay a little more. And they, it may not be that they're paying everybody a little more, but they might pay you a little more. And you might think that, that school needs you and you're going to be the lead receiver. It goes on and on. Singleton, I understand. Taylor Green's going to be the quarterback. And his clock's running. He's been here a while. Quarterbacks, it's been like that with quarterbacks for, I'd say, 20 years, Chuck, where they're going to move somewhere where they can play. And maybe they move down a level. Whether, everybody wants to play. I mean, Jack Lindsey wanted to go play. I'm talking about Fayetteville guys. Taylor Powell, he was at Missouri, and he wanted to go play somewhere. He's playing in Canadian football now, so his football's not even over. So what I guess I was expecting it. You didn't know, every one of them you kind of gasp a little bit. It's like, oh, he's gone. But they're going to replace him, and that's what they're doing. And we'll just have to learn a whole new batch. There'll be Razorbacks. And, it's like I've heard people over and over say, well, I'm not doing this. I'm done with it. But they're hanging on every word, and they're not done with it. And I can give you names of my friends that will have told me they're not paying attention anymore. Yet when something like this happens, I get a text from them immediately. And then on signing day, they were excited, went through the list. Well, which one of these guys is going to play next year? Well, some of them will. I don't know enough about them to say which ones. But it's flux. It is transition. It is. I mean, it's like I'm making 2 different chilies today and tomorrow, and both of them are going to be different. The recipes are different. The recipe is going to be different next year, but it'll probably turn out to be a good chili still. I mean, I think I see some players are still, Sorey and Campbell. I mean, those are studs, and they're going to have Taylor Green. They're going to have, but. Let me just say, this isn't over. There'll be some more players leave over the next few days, and then we're going to start seeing the transfers come in beginning next week.
Terry's on the line in Little Rock. Terry, you're on the Chuck and Bo Show.
Hey, good morning.
Hey, Terry.
Chuck, just wanted to call in and send my thoughts and prayers to Bob's family and friends and associates there. Just real quick, I had the opportunity in '85. I was a freshman at the university, and I got the bonus of being able to be a part-time sports reporter, working under, of all people, Bob Holt. And, and that's been, almost 40 years ago, but I still to this day remember things Bob taught me then. And I'm one of those guys Clay Henry talked about probably that got out of the business. And anyway, this news just devastated me. I hadn't talked to Bob in 20 years, but I remember the kind of guy he was. I remember him phrasing those questions even that long ago. I remember squirming in my seat going, wow, that's how you do it. And he was just so good at that, such a nice person. And I just wanted to call in and pass those words on to, everybody.
Thank you, Terry. I appreciate that. And here's the thing about, what Bob did and what so many still do is that when someone like Bob reports and gives you information on something you care about, like the Razorbacks, they do become, in a sense, part of your circle. I'm not going to go so far as to say family, although I think in Bob's case it was. But they certainly become part of your circle. And people who you may not see every day, but you pay attention to every day. And Bob certainly, because of what he wrote about, commanded that type of attention, but it was the way that he handled his job that I think people came to really respect. But Clay, I made this comment a little bit earlier. The overwhelming majority of comments you're going to hear by Bob Holt are going to have nothing to do with a beautifully crafted article that he wrote or a phrase that he turned or a question that he asked. People are going to talk about what kind of individual he was. And I'm reminded that when it's all said and done, that's what people are going to say about you. Not whether or not you were good at what you did necessarily, but what kind of human being you were.
Yeah, that's right. It's Bob was real good with young reporters too. And say he was covering a game at, in Dallas, and he was going to take his car, and he'd find out if there was somebody that maybe couldn't afford, wasn't going to get mileage with the company they were working. He's like, well, just ride with me. That didn't happen much, Chuck. I don't think I ever did that, but he did, and he knew that. Okay, the guy at 247, he's not going to be able to get there, but you can ride with me, and gosh, what a benefit. Plus, you got free transportation, but you learned. You learned a lot. And I go back to my days early on riding to games with Bill Connors or my dad. I mean, that's the same kind of ride that you got with Bob Holt. I mean, the same. No, you don't do it that way. You do it this way, or this is why. This is why I do this the way I do it. And but yeah, just the way he treated other people, and he could be dogged in the way that he asked questions because, Dave Van Horn and Nolan Richardson and Brett Bielema and Houston Nutt, they knew it was Bob, and he was going to keep asking until you gave a proper answer. And it wasn't meanness, it was just doggedness, and you respected. Okay, that's the way I go out on the road and recruit. I got to be dogged. He's doing his job the same way, and everybody always recognized that he did his job and did it correctly. And he learned that at Missouri, and he learned that from being around guys like Jim Bailey and Orville Henry and Wally Hall, and in the way it was supposed to be done in our town. We've been so lucky, Chuck, in the media that we've had. The newspaper war was so great for readers, because resources were poured in, and these guys were allowed to do jobs in a way that, to be honest, it wasn't happening like that in other markets. The volume, the length of stories, the number of pages devoted to sports, and that was during Bob's, when he first came here, he walked into that, and so we were treated to a different level of journalism than, say, they were getting, in Kansas or Mississippi or Tennessee. Rocky Felker told me that he noticed the level of commitment to journalism to newspaper business that we had at Arkansas that he had never seen in Mississippi when he was a head coach. So that we were lucky there, and Bob was lucky in that, that he was given space to really dive into stuff, both in features and in news stories.
All right, quick break. Back with more with Clay Henry in just a moment. This is the Chuck and Bo Show.
Chuck and Bo, it's always an honor and pleasure to be with you. You know I don't do a lot of these in the course of my season.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Guys, regardless of our age, feeling good is something we all want. That's what the Sweatin' 'em Edge is all about. It's where health, confidence, and peak performance come together. We all face challenges like low energy, hair loss, who's looking at me, stubborn weight, and skin health. The good news is we can do something about it. Get your free evaluation today and see where you are. Chuck and I have both done it and are better off for it. Log on to sweatin'emcosmetic.com and click on the Sweatin' 'em Edge. Having great vision enhances every part of life. That's why I go to McDonald Eye Associates. Whether it's a pair of readers or LASIK surgery, you know you're in good hands. You've heard former quarterback and now coach Ty Story talk about his great LASIK results with McDonald Eye. The surgeons there have done more LASIK procedures than anybody in the state of Arkansas and have helped numerous athletes get better results through improved vision. When it comes to vision, nobody sees it like McDonald Eye.
There's nothing like a college football Saturday, a few beers, your phone, and Twitter.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Touchdown, Arkansas!
We fought back. We took a punch, and we answered back.
He's going to go! Johnson's at midfield, and there he goes! 98 yards. Keep, I saw it, but I'm not sure I believe it.
Listen to every Razorback football game this season right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Ty Richardson, we're live here at First Financial Mortgage. I'm here with my friend Ethan Adamson. Ethan, I know I probably texted you 100 times during this process, man. I didn't know what I was doing. Luckily, you did.
Yeah, Ty. It was always great working with you. Glad we could help you get closed. A good loan officer is someone who can answer questions after hours, before hours, and be available when you're needed. We get pre-qualifications in, get buyers pre-qualified so they can search for homes and get them closed quick. Call 479-782-9300. Weekdays 8 to 5. FFB1.com. First Financial Mortgage, in the business of you, equal housing lender.
Whether you're fishing for cold water bass on Beaver Lake or Table Rock, or fishing for a trophy brown trout on the mighty White River, the Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue will catch them. It has that famous rolling action whether it's fished extremely slow or worked fast in heavy current. This rogue suspends, so it will stay in the strike zone longer, allowing you to catch more fish. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue.
Walk-Ons is always a win, whether it's for a post-game celebration, drinks with the crew, or an easy weeknight dinner. Walk-Ons has you covered. Scratch-made dishes, wall-to-wall TVs, craft beers and cocktails. Dig into their mouth-watering menu items like po' boys, gumbo, and voodoo shrimp, plus fan favorites like juicy burgers and fresh salads. Find your nearest location in Rogers, Fayetteville, Fort Smith, Conway, and Little Rock, or order online or in the app. Walk-On Sports Bistro for the win.
Hey, it's Ty Richardson. We're live at Rainwater's Men's Clothing and Tuxedo Rental, 9700 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Gail, we got spring weddings coming up.
A lot of brides are planning their weddings for spring, and Rainwater's is ready to get them all set up, match up your colors, make all your guys look good. Come to Rainwater's, you get to try it on immediately, and you know that it fits, and we'll take care of you.
When you stop by, make sure to tell Gail and his staff that Ty sent you.
Rainwater's Men's Clothing and Tuxedo Rental, because it's fun to look good.
This is Daryl Johnston with Hashtag Managed IT Services. We are excited to now be part of AAA Business Systems. Hashtag will continue to handle every IT need your business will have, and now, as part of AAA Business Systems, we can handle all of your document printing and storage solutions. Together, we have the expertise to meet all of your office technology needs. Find us online at aaabm.com or call us at 471-1771.
Whether it's torque, horsepower, or just extreme work, diesel trucks do their job. But when your diesel truck needs maintenance or repair, it's time to head to Extreme Diesel. Everything from standard maintenance to extreme repairs, including injector testing. Extreme Diesel delivers. They have the tools and service for your Cummins, Duramax, or Power Stroke. You trust your truck to deliver on your needs, and you can trust your truck at Extreme Diesel, 6630 Alma Highway between Van Buren and Alma. Check them out on Facebook or give them a call at 651-3363. They're bilingual, now offering CP4 solutions for both Chevy and Ford.
Hey, Ty Richardson for Jam Mart. Brad Tyson and their entire team are so thankful this time of year during the holidays. We appreciate all of our customers that enjoy the beverage bar at Boonville, the hot food at Phoenix, and the deli at Jam Mart number 10. We know you're loving the updated pumps at our gas stations, and we're continuing to strive to find new creative ways to improve every single day. If you love Jam Mart, please leave us a 5-star review on Google. Happy holidays from your friends at Jam Mart.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
I knew I had to show up because after Chuck does a game, we don't know what's going to happen. I don't feel like there's a world where Chuck is not showing up and also lets us know.
That's true. If I don't show up, you need to try to contact me because there's an issue.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
All right, here we go. Moving toward the top of the hour. Clay Henry's here. Avid outdoorsman, hunter, writer, Renaissance man. Clay, I do want to talk to you about a couple of sporting matters. Basketball. SEC goes 14-2 against the ACC. And you know, we've heard the last 2 or 3 years, man, the SEC may be the best basketball conference in America. It's like, okay. You know, and then we get to the tournament, and, you know, you've got some basis for your argument, but other conferences do well, too. I got to tell you, I didn't see 14-2 coming. And it's going to be a tough league this year.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I noticed. In basketball is a coaching deal. I mean, it's if the coach matters. And I'm not breaking news to you. But about 3 or 4 years ago, I looked around and noticed the coaches in the SEC. And then I looked at the ACC, and I didn't know any of those guys. Now, Coach K's gone, Dean Smith's gone, Tony Bennett's gone, Virginia. And if you think that doesn't matter, and then you look around the SEC and see who they've hired. But it's a trickle down, the money from football, the huge amount of money, you know, that's the place it spills into first. And it's NIL, you know, and they say it matters more in the SEC, you know, the fan bases. And, you know, by and large, our fan bases are not dominated by pro sports. So the money and the interest is in those schools. And it's trickled into basketball, and you know, you've added Texas and Oklahoma, and they try in basketball. At least in my opinion, they do. So you know, Texas and Oklahoma helped football, but they dang sure helped basketball too. And I watched the last game that I kind of watched with interest. I didn't even make it to the end of the. I knew I was going to be up early this morning. I didn't make it to the end of the Duke Auburn game. But it looked like Duke was going to hang on and win that one. But Texas, you know, they came back and clawed and fought and won at North Carolina State. That's not an easy place to win. You know, and I've seen some Razorback fans on message boards kind of make fun of Kentucky for losing at Clemson. A lot of teams are going to lose at Clemson. That's one of the tough places to play in the ACC, and that was an Elite Eight team. They have a good coach. I'm talking about Clemson. So I would not write off Kentucky as, you know, is a sinking ship after John Calipari's left, because I think Mark Pope is a good coach, and I think they've assembled a talented team, you know, through the NIL and the transfer portal. It's there's nothing wrong with that team at all. Missouri looks better. You know, they came back and thumped Cal. Not sure how good Cal is, but to answer your question, it's a good, tough league. And when you go on the road in the SEC, the chances are you're gonna have a loss. And I think Tennessee and Auburn and Kentucky and, you know, a few others, you know, Florida, I think is going to be really good. You know, you're going to beat each other up just like you did in football this year. But there may be 12 or 13 teams in the NCAA tournament.
Bless you,
I sneezed,
Clay.
sorry.
My goodness.
I couldn't hold it off.
Hey, let me ask you before we get out of here. We got about a couple of minutes left before we got to wrap it up.
Okay.
The significance of Bobby Petrino returning to Arkansas, and we look at the signing of Grayson Wilson and the flip of Imalavala out of California and the desire to get in receivers from the transfer portal. What do you make of all that?
That Arkansas will continue to be good on offense. Now, I want to tell you, they had turnovers, and that's not good. But I continued to watch him call plays where they had open guys running free. The quarterback didn't always find them, but they're going to have a good offense, and they're going to have a running game.
And you're going to sneeze. And you're going to sneeze.
Yeah.
What's the deal? You got hay fever
peppering
miseries? I mean, what's the deal?
No,
You cooking?
I'm peppering a brisket.
Oh, he's cooking. Okay.
There's pepper. Right. Texas brisket calls for a lot of pepper.
Yeah,
and,
well, it's nice timing on your part. Nice
nice
timing.
I did it right, didn't I? Well, I thought it was going to be 2 segments, Chuck.
Yeah, well, we threw a curveball at you.
No, and it was appropriate today. I get it.
All right, man. Have a good day. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chuck.
Clay Henry. Sneezing Clay. Did you hear that, Bart?
Yeah, that was.
I mean, you could hear it a mile
I was
away.
wondering if Clay was getting sick or if this was some sort of cooking situation.
That was Clay saying, "I'm ready to go."
Yeah,
you guys told me 2 segments. I got a brisket I'm getting ready to work on.
I'm about to have
what
a
are we
really
doing
good
here?
day.
What are we doing here?
Please let me go.
All right, final break. Back with more in a moment. This is the Chuck and Bo Show. Good morning.
What do you think Brian in Ozark was doing under the full moon? I have a vision of some peyote, a tailgate, and a Keystone Light.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
This holiday season, give a gift that sparkles brighter than ever. A diamond from Blakeman's Fine Jewelry, premier destination for diamonds in Northwest Arkansas. At Blakeman's, we don't just help you find the perfect diamond, we guide you through the journey, teaching you everything you need to know to make the most meaningful choice. Whether it's for a proposal under the mistletoe, or a holiday anniversary, or simply a way to say I love you. Blakeman's is where your search ends and your story begins.
Flight by Yuengling is the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yuengling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yuengling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yuengling and Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Did you know the CDC reports as many as 3 out of 4 Americans suffer from sleep disorders? The more severe condition is called obstructive sleep apnea, and if left untreated, can increase the risk of death by 17%. It can also lead to conditions like obesity, high blood pressure, heart condition, and stroke. If you have sleep disorder breathing, it's important to treat it properly. The standard treatment's a breathing machine called CPAP. It helps you breathe during the night. However, there are other options, and thanks to some truly innovative and proven technologies provided by one of our own Arkansas surgeons, Dr. Scotty Bolding, there are alternative treatments that may eliminate the need to wear CPAP every night. Dr. Bolding at Precedent Center for Facial and Dental Medicine works carefully with your sleep physician, determines where the underlying obstruction may be, and provides surgical solutions that open the airway, allowing you to breathe better. Call Dr. Bolding's office today at 479-755-3000 for a consultation and tell them you heard it on the Chuck and Bo Show.
With Oaklawn Sports, the action never stops and the season is never over. It's now easier than ever to wager on your favorite sports all year long. Go from football to basketball to baseball to golf. Bet on what you want, when you want, with the brand you trust. Oaklawn Sports even offers ways to bet on cricket, rugby, table tennis, and more. If it's a sport, chances are you can wager on it. Plus, it's now simpler to deposit and withdraw money from your account. Bet all year long with Oaklawn Sports, Arkansas's best sports betting app. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
'Tis the holiday season, a special delight, with gifts all around and spirits so bright. Watch closely now, for there's one more surprise, a gift that brings comfort with joy in our eyes. The family rejoices, their excitement takes flight. With a new Pascal heat and air system, they're snug every night. Give your family the gift of true comfort with over $5,100 in savings. Plus, receive a whole home duct cleaning on qualifying systems. Special financing available with no payments and no interest. Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
Good morning, Smack Daddy. What's happening?
What's up, Bald Brotherhood?
There you go.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
It's Ty Richardson with owner and operator Cecil Gardner with Jazzco Graphics, 16 years in the industry. Cecil, this is the one-stop shop.
Yes, Jazzco Graphics Design, the one-stop shop, 2415 Midland, for your custom or buck order.
Why ESPN 95.3?
I really enjoy listening in, and it keeps my day going while I'm at work. Jazzco Graphics Design, 2415 Midland. It's on the corner of Midland and Kelly. Jazzco Graphics, the one-stop shop.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's #1 mobile app for placing sports wagers.
There's big news in the mobile sports betting business. Bet Saracen was just named the 15th largest sports book in America. That's because Arkansans like to do business with a winner. Find all your winners on Bet Saracen. Download it today and look for my RR prop bet specials. I pick them, you win them.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's favorite sports wagering app.
Gambling problem? Call 800-522-4700.
Hey, it's Ty Richardson, and we are live at Lily's Sandwich Shop in the Bakery District. Jose, but what we got whipping up today, man?
Man, today's special, we have the French toast turkey melt, kind of a special sandwich. It really didn't put us on the map, but it did put a star by our name.
Daily specials every day at the award-winning Lily's Sandwich Shop. And if you don't believe me, ask Lily.
My name is Lily. My papa makes the best sandwiches at Lily's Sandwich Shop. I'm buying them at the Bakery District today.
At Arvest Bank, we believe in the power of serving others. That's why we're committed to working with and supporting those who serve our communities. From the ones who are making a difference in big and small ways every day, to those who are helping create better tomorrows. We appreciate everything you do, and we're proud to work alongside you. Because every community deserves a financial partner who cares. Arvest Bank. We believe.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
It's National Absurdity Day.
I plan on celebrating.
Well, I think we already have.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
We're glad you're back. One final segment of the show today. Still time for your call, 877-377-6963. I think Bo's coming back tomorrow. Isn't he, Bart? Is that the story? I know he's out. He's on assignment today. I don't know if the assignment will extend into tomorrow, but I know it's today.
We'll see.
Oh, okay.
We'll see.
Oh, okay.
He might have gotten a whiff of not being up at 6 a.m. to start the show. It might be like,
I got you. This may be one of those, I forgot to tell you, I'm going to be gone Friday, too.
Yeah.
That can happen. It's been a little different this morning, obviously, with the passing of Bob Holt, and I was reading during the break. The tributes have started to come in now as we've moved almost now to 9 o'clock, and for those who do not know, Bob passed away late last night, 10:38, according to the tweet from Wally Hall. Bob collapsed walking back up to the press box last Saturday night in Columbia. He'd been downstairs covering Sam Pittman's post-game press conference, doing what he did, asking questions, and collapsed as he was walking back up and passed away late last night. I think among others, the commissioner of the SEC, Greg Sankey's issued a statement this morning. Cal has. Who are some of the others, Bart?
Yeah, a lot of coaches. Shane Beamer, Eli Drinkwitz.
Really?
Yeah, Tom Crean, the former Georgia and Indiana basketball coach, and just loads of media people.
Bob was part of the Football Writers Association of America, but he had been a board member on the Basketball Writers Association of America, board of directors member for a number of years. And so his contacts through all those things were extensive, I guess we could say.
Yeah, and part of that, too, was just Bob's personality, right? I said it earlier, like, he's one of those people who never met a stranger and was friends with everyone, because that's just, he was unfailingly kind. And that's what I'm going to remember most about Bob, is just the way he treated everybody, whether it was a coach who didn't like his line of questioning, or a young reporter who he decided to look after and make sure he was okay.
I can tell you for a number of years, being in media rooms and press boxes and things of that nature, when Bob would saddle over, you knew at some point in the conversation, and it generally started with a smile. Bob was one of those guys that when you spoke with him, it was always a pleasant conversation. And even, as people like to say, the tough questions. Right. When you're a professional, they're not tough. But when he would ask the tough questions, as people would describe them, he always did it in a way that where he did not come across as mean, where he did not come across as, I've got an angle, I've got a predisposition, and I want you to either affirm that or disprove my thought. He asked a question and waited for the answer. And that's, I guess, what you're supposed to do. All right, we'll get back to griping and complaining tomorrow, and I'm sure that'll happen. Hope you have a great day. Back tomorrow. Thanks for listening to the Chuck and Bo Show.
There's a sense of pride when it comes to things built in our state, and you can add Flyway Brewing to the list.